And you'll still just always talking about every meeting we bring. Chat in with sorry. Say good morning.
Hi, Dodie. Everybody's talking, Dodie. We'll get started here soon. Okay. Hold on. I can't hear you. Hold on. Okay, what? It's too loud in here. I can't hear you. We'll start in a minute. Maybe 5 minutes. I think you can see everybody pretty well.
I just put one on that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Okay. Yeah. Everything here. And there's another. She's got the computer. I'm waiting on the Saturday next to Did everyone get a blue phone? Yeah. Everyone did. Okay. So I mean, this is. I think get another chair. We should, and I should hear. Oh, okay, so we do need another chair. So we'll have another chair. Next one. Yeah. Along the wall. Okay, yeah. And we can. I love your green. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, almost. Yeah, here, let me get my stuff out of your way. We're in a lull.
We're gonna start the meeting. Thank you for being here on time. Because I found out from the hotel that they have another meeting in here this afternoon. So she politely suggested we don't go too far over on 12 o'clock. And I said, don't worry, we have lunch at 1 and nothing interferes with our thing. So we're gonna. Well, I just texted her and asked, we need to move our books, and she's finding out. And if we do, what we'll do is we will just leave them on the table and move them right out here.
It's on the way.
And it's on wheels, and we've got this spot, and it's safe tonight, so she's finding out though, we can just leave them. Okay, really, if you will, so if everybody wants.
Really better if it's.
Yeah, so I'm hoping we can leave these here. So if everybody wants to stand and we'll say the pledge to start our meeting and, I guess I did call it to order. At 9:00. Okay, all right, here's our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank y'all so much.
I
Okay.
turn up air conditioning, you can the air conditioning, it might be outside.
He said if we were hot, I should text her and let her know. Okay. I don't know. if we should-
You're going through a change.
Oh, that's many years ago. I wish, yeah, I wish. When I came in early this morning, the lady in charge was here and we both felt hot.
Yeah.
And she said, I'm talking to engineering about it. And I said, well, it is warm in here. She said, well, text me if it doesn't cool down. So I'm going to text her and let them know. And then we also have the lady coming she's gonna come take a picture of us. But that's gonna be like after 10, so we'll text her and let her know.
Jennifer, we've got a guest on Zoom. Dodie Manning is on Zoom.
Right,
So if everybody would not all talk at once, then she can hear what you're saying.
okay,
Okay?
okay. And thank you, Barbara, for setting up the Zoom for us.
No problem.
Thank you so much. And thanks, Dodie, for being.
Where is she? She's right there. Can she see you? She can't see you. She can see up that way. Now she can see you. There's Stephanie. I just talked to her yesterday.
Say your name first, at any time, you know, you can know people say.
Yes. Yes, okay. And now, thank you so much, Anne. You've done such a great job on the minutes. All right, now we're gonna have our inspirational message. Mary Ann Ferris is gonna give us our inspirational message.
Well, when Jennifer asked me to do this, I wasn't sure I could do it, but then I did some research on the web and got thinking about it. I came up with too many ideas. But this one I thought
Oh. Dang, this happened again, damn it.
inspirational speech. I came across these ideas related to books and ALA project. I thought some of this was too good not to share, so I am including the inspiration. I have several pictures here, one about books. Stolen moments with a book are never a waste of time. And that's by James E. Davis. And the one you've heard before, a child who reads, it will be an adult who thinks. That's been my favorite one for years. And then there's another one. Think not of the books you bought as to be read, pot in a pile. Instead, think of your bookcase as a wine cellar. You collect books to be read at the right time, the right place, and the right mood. And that's by Luke Van Dock. And here to read. These are my thoughts in your child books.
Yeah.
Books are an escape from reality. My daily pleasure, a waste of time. Learn to read, read to learn. It's never a waste of time. My book is calling, only 1 more minute to waste on here. Read, so good for our young. Books take some great journeys, take us on some great journeys. I try to read every day, not on here, not on a Kindle, but in referring to the computer, not reading on a computer, but real page journeys along with my Bible. Reading is good for the heart, soul, and mind. Books are great educators, givers of wisdom, knowledge, and information. We get to meet, greet powerful minds and eloquent people without leaving our homes. Good books, not any books, are sources of human wisdom and knowledge. Get your thoughts saturated by them. Love, retirement, primarily because I can read for hours and hours every day. They are better than what's out there. Many years ago, I was working 3 or more jobs. I was so desperate to read, I would read at stoplights. I would read while waiting in the car for my children. I always had a book underneath the seat. And I was amazed how many books I was able to read in those short times with 3 children, taking them hither and now. My mother was a doer, my husband reads. And I get lost in books and love it there. I love retirement partly because I read for hours and hours. And I got this very nice. Oh, good, thank you. I'll pass this around on copy. And on the back, there's some websites that I found that would be of interest. A Mighty Girl. And this is for grades K through 12, through 2nd grade, places to go, and a recommendation of 1 book. Thank you. So I will start reading it around. Thank you, Mary Ann. And I think we get back to voting against some other people.
Thank you. Yes.
I just wondered, how many of you here are in a book club? Okay, yeah.
I'm my own club.
Thanks for still important
clubs. Yeah, I know we need to be reminded to read. I just love that. Okay, so does everybody? Did everybody get a copy? Yes. Oh, everyone should have a copy of the minutes from the mid-year board meeting in February that was in New Orleans. So if y'all want to take a second to look through those and then we can get approval of those minutes.
They have been posted.
Yes.
So
They have been,
everyone.
yes, they have been posted, so hopefully a lot of people have already read them, so if you haven't, take a quick minute and then I need to get a motion for approval.
I think we approve.
Cheryl, okay, Cheryl moves for approval. Do we have a second?
I'd like to second that.
Okay, Joette Rieger. So we have Cheryl move and Joette second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Minutes have been approved. All right, so let's move on to the officers report and we're gonna start with Sharon.
Okay.
And there is a treasurer's report there, stable.
You also have one to Jennifer, you all have one to your place. I will mention before I start, I dropped the tax return from last year because by law, you're supposed to have all have access to that. Thank you. Sure you all want to read it. Here it is. Okay. So let's start with the balance sheet. Let me see. Okay, we have a lot of papers here today. So, okay, the balance sheet. So, it shows that we have, right now I have $6,592 in the checking account. That's more than I normally have, but I haven't written the checks yet for the toy travel award. And, you know, so that'll be like 4,000 right there. And then this all is dependent upon how well this meeting does, because sometimes we have to spend a fair amount of money on this meeting, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But and the Morgan Stanley cash fund shows a negative amount because I took money out of the account at the end of July, and it they took some of it out of cash and some of it out of, the equities and stuff, and they'll have to. That will all show up at the end of July and their reports, and I'll be able to change this, but this, I couldn't do this yet, so I took more money out of the. Morgan Stanley account to pay for things for this, meeting for the toy awards and all of that, and they just. It doesn't show transfer, so it's not like we have negative money in Morgan Stanley. Our Morgan Stanley investment account part will show more than we truly have, but it will all come out when I get their in July statement that I had to make before, because they don't come out for a day or two after the end of the month. And we were here. But anyway, we have $422,403.59 in money, and we have no liabilities. So that is our balance. Go to the next. Anybody have any questions? If not, we'll go to the next page. The next page, I try to combine several different reports into one to make it easy for you to see. The first column is the actual money that we received and spent a year ago. Our actual 12 months a year ago. The second column is what we have done so far this year for 11 months. And then the third column shows what we budgeted for this year. The fourth column shows what the difference is between what we budgeted and what we actually have spent or taken in. That is helpful. However, because we have this meeting right at the end of our fiscal year, it's very hard for to have a very good analysis at this time, but I need to do this much because I have to present you with a proposed budget for next year. So, I will go to the second page and say that a year ago, we took out $30,000 from the car to meet all our expenses. This year, so far, taken out $31,000. I may have to take out a little more depending on how this meeting goes. We had budgeted 35, so we were doing better than we thought at this point. So then I have a budget for next year. In the budget I proposed, we have to take out 38,000 from the car. So I wanted to go over a couple of these items so that you can see why the difference. And I did mention at the executive, if you look at contributions in memory of honor, a year ago, it says we only had 11,000. We really had 14,000, but the 300 from the Jarvis amount came in the fiscal year before. That she gave it to me in July and I couldn't hold it till September. So we really did. I double checked and we received money from her 3 times and we given money out from her 3 times. So we're balancing. But that's why if you look at the 21, 22, it doesn't show that much. We actually had a lot more money given that year because we had several husbands pass. But so that we really took in 14,000 that year, but the 3,000 from Jarvis came in the fiscal year before. So anyway, I bumped into the next year. I lowered the amount we'll get from individual dues. I kept the sustaining, I raised it a little because we did get more than we budgeted last year. Local auxiliaries, I lowered a little because we may lose an auxiliary along the way. And I kept the contributions in memory and honor of 13,000, which would be the 10,000 and the 3,000. And I hope that's all we get. Nobody's husband or nobody's. Anyway, that's why I come up with 14,600 as income. Now, we obviously spend a lot more than that, but we do that intentionally because we have the money and we want to provide these things. I'll go through some of the big ones in the expenses. The first one is the officers' expenses. We budget 2,000 for the president. The last couple of years, the presidents haven't been using that much. Our presidents used to go visit locals and do a lot of other things, but I don't want to make the president not be able to do things. So I've left that there. 6,000 for the auxiliary support. That's been our traditional amount. Last year, we raised it 500 because of, we wanted to, because of a choice made by the group. The toy is 9,000. The Lillian Jarvis is 3,000, but you know, that is reflected up in income, and the Gergemeyer is 10,000, but that also is reflected up in the income. 5,000 for travel expenses, though. I raised that from 4 because we now are giving out 5 awards. And we hadn't accounted for, like this year, the young gentleman who's getting the scholarship money, he's coming, and we wanted to give him money. And so if all 5 of our recipients come, and we give them each $1,000 for their travel, that will be 5,000. Now, we talked about in, executive that, you know, it's probably costing them more than 1,000, and we need, and so Barbara's gonna check into that. We may in the future even raise that even more, because we don't want people that won their toy award having to spend part of the toy award coming to receive the toy. Right? So, right now, this year, we're gonna give them each 1,000, that come, each of the 4 that are coming, and there's no way for me to budget for future, but once we get more information, that I'm budgeting 5,000 of that. We provide the winners and their guests their meal. The next big one is, meetings. And this one I did want to discuss. We have $6,000 in our budget for meetings. I think that we need to start figuring out earlier how many people are coming to the meeting, how much. What's happening is we're guaranteeing restaurants a certain amount, and then people aren't coming, and then and the organization is eating that. And I don't think that's how we want to spend our money. So I think what we're gonna have to do is, make you pay sooner, so that we know if you're coming. Make you pay, you know, in June, if you're coming to the August meeting, so that we can tell the restaurant an exact amount of how many people are coming, instead of guessing, you know, we're gonna have 30 people, and now we only have 25 coming, and so we have to eat the expenses of 5 dinners or whatever. So that, you probably will be getting that you will have to decide sooner if you're coming, and pay sooner, so that we do not have the problems that we've been having the last couple of meetings. The other thing that was.
Sherry, can I say something real quickly? Sorry. So Joette, do you have anything to say on that? Since
I
you're the
do.
one
I
that
don't
always
want to
has to make
interrupt.
the- How
First
can
of
we
all-
do that?
First of all, I want to compliment Janet for having done this job for a long time. Because there's a lot involved, like the restaurant we went to last night was closed down for 2 weeks because of a leak. Were they gonna open, were they not? The restaurant for this evening, their air conditioner went out. So we had that the last one, their air conditioner went out. I said, well, we don't want that room. So they moved us to the roof, which is much better, but you know, but there's just a lot involved. But these restaurants, it now require you to sign a contract, and usually a long way from that, or you don't get the space. So, you know, we usually have around 30 people, so that's what we went with, and then it ended up we have 22 or something. It's a big problem because then we guarantee to the restaurants by contract. I know Janet probably went through the same thing, but restaurants are so strict now about, it's not just you come in and eat. They require a signature and, you know, big deposit.
And you can always add a few extra
You
chairs.
can always add.
It's easier to do that than to subtract and have to pay for it.
Right.
So if we start earlier, Joette, then that would
That
be
should
easier
help.
maybe for you, making all the reservations, and for us getting our money. Okay. Okay,
And a pay commitment.
pay commitment, yes. Okay, Diane.
But like Barbara just said, could you guarantee a smaller number and then,
We could try that. In fact, I thought I had this time.
and then several months in advance, you could give them a right number?
That's a thought.
But if we pay in advance, if we have to pay by June, we'll make a contract for the number who have paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
it could be added.
if somebody decides to come at the last minute, they can pay and come, and you can add a few chairs, but not 10.
I think that's what we did in New Orleans, you know, we kept the number low. Always put more-
They usually tell you about 5 extra you come in, that's a minimum, I mean, a maximum, because you set up ahead.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I belong to a symphony organization, and if you sign up and then you don't show up, you still have to pay.
Okay.
So it's,
So what my policy has been over the years is that if you sign up and you don't come, if we make more money, like if we make a couple $100 off the evening, you will get a refund. If we go in the hole, you don't get a refund. So I'll make you an example. You didn't come one time and you paid for 2 dinners and I said, I cannot refund you this dinner because we ended up spending more money than what we collected. But the other dinner, we did collect a little bit more and I'll send you a refund. You know, so because we're not trying to, we have to guess what it's gonna cost.
Right.
The taxes and all the other charges they charge. And so, you know, whatever they decide, if it's $25 a person and it actually ends up costing $33 a person, so we make $2 on each person, so if someone doesn't come, I can refund. But if I go in the hole, I can't give you a refund because we didn't collect enough money to cover the bill.
Right.
The problem is, it wasn't her fault, it was a weather issue, it's not like it was her fault.
Right.
Same as Virginia, I would let you forfeit it, I don't have a problem with it. Right, but their planes were canceled. Another problem,
but Janet here, what about the registration? You mentioned that.
Well, that was
That's the next thing. Before I interrupted you. So does anyone else?
Can I have just one more thing?
Yes.
I was going to suggest, personally, my husband and I do not drink. And I kind of objected to the fact that I was having to pay for drink for each one of us when I physically medically cannot drink. Not that I don't like it.
So that's so interesting you brought that up. I learned that about the restaurant this evening. I said, well, we have members that don't drink. Can we just have them remember how we did the separate?
Yes.
No. She said this cost will be for alcoholic or non-alcoholic beverage.
Oh.
So they have their systems and you have to be very careful. I had Gary look over the contracts. 'Cause they're pretty complicated.
That's fine.
They add in fees, which brings me to the one other point of the cost. I know, you know, even fast food places are expensive, but the restaurants are pretty expensive. I know in Denver, I was hard pressed to find anything around downtown for less than $80-something per person.
Yeah.
By the time they add on this fee, that fee.
Yeah, on your tax and your
And
tip and all that
they have
stuff.
city fees, they have the other odd little fees.
They have fees to pay the kitchen help.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a
Until last night, I was sending to my note,
There was a search.
and pay the non-tip help.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right?
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah. My favorite.
I know that.
So anyway, we're trying to, figure this out because we don't want to use our money to have us go to dinner,
Right,
whatever. So another thing that was suggested.
Dodie, if you ever want to say anything, just go to the chat room and type it in and I'll see it and then I can read it to everybody.
Okay,
Help us cover things that pop up that we don't realize in advance. It's coming.
We used to have that.
Yes, we did.
And it was rescinded, and I don't remember
I
why.
don't either.
Does anyone here remember why we rescinded?
Well, I charge you again.
But I don't think.
We used to have a
25.
It must be 25.
$25, yeah.
Well, for example, we had a last minute charge because we're doing a Zoom so that our toy winner can participate because he's not going to be here. Well, that requires us to pay a setup fee to the Denver Athletic Club to have the screen. And I'm gonna take my computer over, make sure I can get hooked up and everything. But that's a cost we didn't anticipate having, but it's a required cost. I mean, we're giving this award and we need to have it, be able to accept it.
Yes.
And that used to be covered by the
By the
$25
$50
or
or $25.
$25.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, I haven't seen it on the forum for 10 years.
No,
Maybe 8 or 9.
Well, I think it's very logical
Yes.
to have a registration fee And $50 is fine with me if it will. Everything,
Well, it helps.
just about.
Incident,
Oh,
and the city
The
and the-
microphone code and the AV, all that kind of stuff is on top
Yes.
of the meal and everything else, so that's what I can build it up after that. So we are-
It would still be interesting to know why we rescinded it. It's almost a
Oh, before that.
Jana, you confused about paying that $25
No, I
and
don't.
$25 for the AV. And they'd say, oh, I'm gonna pay.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Or
Maybe
maybe we don't
Lucy-
pay the ADA and
Maybe
Lucy was the number, I don't know.
And you know, y'all, we get the rooms through the ADA, so we don't have to pay for our room, which is good. Now, if we decide, we'll talk about this later, to meet somewhere else, above, without, then we're gonna have to look at that expense. So it's nice that we don't have to pay right now for the rooms, but as far as the registration fee, I think that's logical. And do we need to go ahead and settle that today and vote on that, or? I don't know, go ahead, Ann.
I guess we should vote on a figure, because say you have to pay for a room or something,
Still looks like
the registration will be.
what we can vote to include a registration fee.
Yes.
Okay,
Just, don't.
But not if it's the.
not a fixed amount, or not to exceed a certain amount, or?
Well, but we just, we had to think of numbers. That's why I didn't.
Yeah, because we may have to if we need somewhere else to pay. Whole other small game. So, but is everybody here pretty much in favor of having a registration fee? I guess we don't really have to vote on it. I mean, we could just say we'll put it back in, or does that require a vote?
Let's just vote on it to make it clear. I propose that we
Okay,
determine by the treasurer every year.
okay, that's a good one. That's your motion, Barbara's motion. Second by Alice Gordon.
Okay.
Is there any more
Can you
discussion?
say the version again, just one more time?
Move to, reinstate a registration fee, the amount to be determined by the treasurer according to our financial situation.
There you go. And then Alice seconded. Okay, was there any more discussion on that? We voted?
No, but that's why we have $6,000 in the budget to cover things that come up in meetings, but lately, the things that have come up is the over cost of the restaurant.
Hopefully we won't have any more ice storms.
Right.
No, we didn't vote.
You have to vote.
Oh, yeah, okay, any more debate? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Sorry, Sharon, I'm sorry, I forgot to actually vote.
So actually, then if we keep going down the budget, there's $1,400 for the roster book, which I. And you can probably figure. One, two. Working rates. So then, so, we covered them all, and you think how we're coming up to, we're spending 38,000 more than we're bringing in, so. And then Kitty has a proposal.
Oh, Virginia had a quick question for
Yeah,
for
so-
you, Sharon.
Yeah.
What is? So this is a process, but why is that?
That would be charges is a company out of Chicago, CT Corporation.
For like 5 years ago, I got one for $99 for the year. I could research that. I don't remember who it was, but I think it was expensive ones. So I'll check, because I used a company I set up for one and it was like.
I would love it.
That'd be great.
Okay, I just didn't know if we're using a private attorney. So much, but
DT is like the big one, I mean, like everybody.
everybody uses that one.
But
Yeah,
there's
there's other stuff.
I mean, some organizations do use a private attorney and I don't mind it. How many years I could do it.
That'd be free.
That would.
That's good.
Okay.
I mean, all it is signing, somebody sues us, I have to sign, that I not be.
Have we ever been to?
Okay, all
All
right,
right,
that would help.
don't
The
talk
other
about
thing
that
is,
privately and that'd be great.
Yeah.
you know, it cost me $1,000 to have the accountant. And then it cost me $650 if you're looking at accounting costs. That's for the program that I use to keep all our records. And that's really reduced because, another organization that I'm in, we both use the Sage. You're allowed to have two companies on one account. And so I pay half and the other company is paying. And so we're on our own if we have to. So, anyway, that's everything except for.
Well, I don't really want to, you want to wait for the report. I think we should.
For the report, is that what you said?
What did you say? Yeah, I'd like to wait till later. and-
All right,
All right, more money.
So-
This is my report, and this is what I projected, if anybody has, I mean, if they look into their particular group that they're in charge of and say, oh, I need more money than that, or I won't need more money, now's the time to speak up.
Understand that, why are meetings, that's one line item, and then you have each meeting separately broke down?
Because we allow 6,000 a year, I have 2 meetings. And so like this year, we've already had 1 meeting, 1,117.
okay.
The other 2 meetings. Last year, San Antonio and Chicago.
Okay, so that's not.
No,
Then it's
no.
not in the.
No, that's why it doesn't have anything
Oh, I, the budget,
under that.
okay.
And we'll tomorrow, since you just presented the budget, tomorrow we have the meeting tomorrow, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
New board,
votes on
the
it.
new board.
Right, the new board will vote,
Oh,
sorry.
Okay.
That's a new board.
So Janet,
So Janet will be-
so I'm just, we'll vote on that. At the new board meeting.
Okay, any questions by anybody?
Jonathan? Oh, Sharon, did we do okay at the restaurant last night? I know we had a minimum, Sharon and Joette. Did we do okay?
She didn't have those figures. I asked her when we left,
Okay.
so I guess I have.
21 people.
Right, we ended up with,
Okay, well, hopefully not, because I think we all spent quite a bit.
we did our part.
We did our share.
We had some other try about all.
We tried to do our part.
We did our part.
Okay, good. Well, we'll find out, I'm sure. So thank you again for that.
And another thing we discussed, I mean, we're all learning more. You and Lucy did it for years and I would balance with you and stuff. Well, Noel's been taken, I don't have access to some of those things until later, so. Without that. We're good. I think we thought Lucy was gonna do it again, but then she wasn't able to, and so.
Haven't seen it. But Joette took over.
And we will get better.
It's a little hard work. I'm glad y'all do that because they're gonna catch on fire. So, all right. Let's move on. Thank y'all again, both, everybody. Thank you.
We have to vote on the agreement.
I think it's just filed for audit.
New board meeting.
Yeah, that's filed. We'll try, report be filed for audit. All right, my next is president's report, but I put it in y'all's folder, so I am not gonna say anything about it. It's just for y'all reading, and it's fairly boring, but I just tried to include some of the things that I did. And of course, I had help on all of these things because y'all are such a wonderful group to work with. So anyway, there's my president's report, and I've enjoyed it. It's been great. And I'll keep telling my husband that this group could run a major corporation because y'all are so organized that everybody has their job and everybody does it so well. So anyway, that's my treasurer's report. And y'all can read it at your president. Oh! You don't want me to treasure. Yes, Noel.
We have to comment on how together Jennifer is.
Yes.
Look at that.
I did that, but Steve's secretary and I worked on, she did all the printing, she's a doll, so she's doing, yeah. So anyway, all right, that's my report. Now we're gonna have President-elect Janet, do you have anything you're gonna say for President?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Stuff we're gonna discuss at some point. Meeting.
Okay, yes, we're gonna discuss that. Okay,
Think about it tomorrow.
yeah. All right,
We're gonna form a committee for that.
yes,
Okay. Oh, we don't want to do that today.
we're gonna, well,
You should have a new board meeting. The board committee at the new board.
Yeah.
Is that the new president?
We'll discuss it.
yes,
So-
yeah.
It's probably gonna be.
All right, teacher of the year, Barbara, would you like to speak on toy?
Yes, I will speak on toy.
Okay,
As you know, the Carr Foundation allows the American Lawyers Alliance to award Teacher of the Year awards, which we have done 3 for the last number of years. This year, or 3 years ago, we added a 4th. Deborah Jarvis, who is a director, wanted to honor her mother. So we have the Lillian B. Jarvis Teacher of the Year Award. So now we have 4 at $3,000 each. A couple years ago, we increased it from what, 1,500 directly to 3,000, I think. So it is a nice award. We send out hundreds. I can't tell you how many we send out every year. And we don't get that high a response back. I don't know if people think it's too much trouble, but it's really not. The form has really been, I think, scaled down somewhat. So anyway, we had, last year we had 12 online applicants, snail mail. You make it all online now, which makes it much easier. And it's on the website, and there's a special place you go and you fill out all the information, you attach all your references, and your scores and all that, well, not scores for the teachers, but everything that we evaluate you on. And then those are put into a spreadsheet that Margaret Settle has worked on for us for the last couple of years. It's wonderful. She fills out a spreadsheet, and you've got, as you know this, she's got the front sheet that's the summary, and then each teacher has a tab, and you can go in and evaluate each one, and then it's all summarized on the front. And then we can all look at it as judges. And Stephanie was one of our judges. Kelly Brown was one of our judges. She's a former Teacher of the Year. And Jacqueline Pope Brothers was one of our judges. She also was a former Teacher of the Year. And from those judges, we picked our 3 toy winners who will be at the breakfast tomorrow. And the 4th one, we asked Deborah Jarvis if she would be the judge on that. It's really, that award is meant for schools that are more urban, that don't have all the affluence in them, that they don't have all the extra things that another school might have. And nobody wants to say, I'm Title I and I'm applying, so nobody applies in that direction. So I went through all the applications and figured out online which ones got the most money from federal funds for Title I stuff. So the top 3 I sent to, because it was a huge break. There were 3 that got a lot of money and the rest just drips and drabs. So I sent those 3 to Deborah, and she was the judge for those, since it was her mom's money that she was giving to us to award. So she picked Rex Hafer, which I just learned today, and I didn't realize this. Alice was responsible for him applying. School, talked to the principal, he applied, and she's got it, I'll show it later. There's a spread in their local newspaper about Rex. It's fabulous. So he will be on Zoom tomorrow. He will not be here physically. He has 2 little kids who have birthdays tomorrow, I think. So he will be here on Zoom. So that is that one. I think that's all we have on Teacher of the Year.
You did a very thorough job.
Well, it's, you know, about May or about March 10th, I'm going, where are the applications? And they come in, they all come in at the same time, so I'm gonna quit stressing about it. But I do hope we can get more, and I think the fact that Alice has gone out locally to her school and said, talked to the principal and said, we have an award, do you have a teacher who will qualify for this? Everybody can do that.
yeah,
You go to the schools in their own area and say, here's a teacher that may not be recognized, but we can recognize them and get them to apply. We've had several that applied several years in a row, and they didn't get it the first year, but they did the second. So it's not a one-time only.
Is it high school, elementary, or just?
High school, no, it's only high school.
Okay.
We did used to do junior high, but
We used to do elementary,
And,
middle, and it was crazy.
Yeah, you
Yes.
might have got,
You can't compare a high school teacher, what she does, with an elementary school teacher, although
Yeah.
they were all wonderful teachers. They have different focus, and so we just, and we stopped getting applications from them.
well, we did, and some high schools are 9 through 12, some are 10 through 12. So that was another complicating factor. So we just say high school, whatever your high school
Your high school.
is, your ninth grade and it's high school, you can apply. And we have several teachers, in fact, last year, was it last year? One of our teachers was a lawyer. So we've had quite a few
You
people
have several.
who are
teachers.
lawyers who have gone into the teaching field. So I love that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I have, and I'm gonna mute Jody.
Well, I've been, contacting our Center for Civic Ed from
They provide
Michigan,
a lot of
and
applicants, yeah.
because she's the one that knows where the good, we the people and the
Yeah.
non-trial people.
Most of them are we the people.
But she then got back to me and she said, oh, I'm so busy, because then the We the People tournament and everything around
Yeah.
all that stuff, so. But you keep trying.
Yeah, if they want $3,000, they'll apply.
Yeah.
Alex,
Thanks to you and the grants we wrote with the school that Rex Havers are part of, we supported their mock trial. So I said to myself, if they have national, state and local winners from that school, maybe the principal would know something. And so here's the article that they send this newspaper out to all people in Kalamazoo.
Oh, wow.
That's really nice. Yeah, so, and what I did is I just called the principal and told her, you know, I was with the American Lawyers Alliance and we have this award. And, so we just, and COVID struck, so we couldn't nominate him. So then after the pandemic was over, then I re-entered it again. I've never met him, so I don't.
Oh, you never-
That's
You'll get the meetings on Zoom.
Well, I think that's
Well, he's
great.
gonna be on Zoom.
Yeah. That's exciting. Well, thank y'all. You've done a great job with that. And thank you, Alan, for bringing in one of our award winners.
Just call your high school principal and say, you know, what you represent and tell them what you're gonna offer and maybe.
Okay, and then the next, Noelle is not here to talk about Yergemeyer, the scholarship that we're gonna get, and we will meet the young man tomorrow. But I did put the last year's brochure at everybody's, place. And so you can kind of see what it's about.
Do her report.
Yes. Did you do it? You want to do it, Kitty? Yeah, great. Kitty's gonna give it.
Noelle, obviously, he's doing so much on the Jurgermeyer scholarship, and we've all worked with her, and like Margaret Settle was amazing. She did our rubrics, and it's really helped a lot. The Jurgermeyer scholarship, received over 65 applications this year. We only had about 29 last year, and so we did, that's really good. The applicants came from 24 states, New Jersey and Florida, having 7 each. The college standouts, because they say where they've been accepted. Harvard 3, Yale 1, UC Berkeley 2, Dartmouth 3, Stanford 2, UVA 2, Duke 2, Georgetown 1, MIT 1, UCLA 1, and Johns Hopkins 2.
Geez, that's all.
These kids were just over the top amazing. And the young man you're gonna meet tomorrow is going to Harvard. And that was one of 3 that are going to Harvard, and that's why. So anyway, average score from the top 10 applicants, SATs, 1582 out of 1600. And the ACTs, 34.7 out of 36. So all these kids, and that's just their academics, and they've done all these other things. But we've had wonderful Margaret Settle again put together a scoring rubric for each applicant that allowed us to score 4 different criteria: law-related activities, honors and achievements, quality and essay, and standardized test scores. The best possible score was 40. We combined all the scores and came up with 7 top candidates. And from that, we did a very lengthy Zoom meeting with Jennifer and Barbara, myself and Noelle, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who else, but anyway, that was the group that had to review these.
Well, Lucy was there, I think.
No,
She
no,
wasn't.
no.
She wanted to make it. She
Yeah.
didn't.
And that meeting, I think, lasted an hour and a half at least, and we took each of these 7 standout, top winners, top scorers, and just went through their whole biography and what they did and everything else, and the essays they wrote, and we really worked hard. So anyway, we've come up with an amazing young man that we're very happy about. His name is Cameron Record, or Ricard. I'm going to have to ask him how to say it because I don't know. Okay. Anyway, and he will be attending Harvard, and he has a perfect score of 36, GPA 4.9, 2023 US Presidential Scholar, class president, sophomore through senior years, salutatorian, we don't include the valedictorian. He's award-winning model UN participation, We the People State Champion, speech and debate champion, Benjamin Franklin Transatlantic Fellow. They only choose one from across the United States to deal with, there's 25 people involved in this and they come from all over. And they go to Purdue and, well, it's a long story, but he was chosen. And the United States Youth Senate Program. So we're very excited. He's gonna be with us tomorrow. We're gonna meet. So that was the Jurgenmeyer Scholarship Report.
There was one thing that I brought up yesterday, which I didn't know. It is that Jugemauer is endowed, so this will be in perpetuity.
As far as we know.
Until they change their mind.
Until they change their mind. Given to us, courtesy of,
Nancy Barr.
Nancy Harvard, her mother, Catherine Jurgenmeyer, was a member, a formidable member apparently, of the Indiana Local Auxiliary, which also belonged to ALA. When she passed away, she left this thing for her daughter to administer the trust fund, and her daughter contacted us as a suggestion for what to do. And of course, we worked on that and said, well, what do we want to do? A scholarship. I mean, so it's a $10,000 scholarship one time for that student, and then next year we'll be, last year we picked a young lady
It's on the back of your brochure.
yes, that's New
New Jersey, yeah.
And so that was, that's what the Jurgenmeyer is all about. So, and I will tell you, I did go to my high school, I sent a thing to my high school about the Jurgenmeyer. My high school dad is in the little town of Lewis, Delaware, and an applicant did apply from the little town of Lewis, Delaware. And he was adorable, he said, he was a football player, which is not fair, but his academics did not come. He was scholarship, so big kid, so we got applicants from different places, which was great.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Could we see the essay he wrote? I love
It's on our website.
Oh, wait, wait.
It's on our website. Yeah.
Very good child.
Yeah.
Child.
Okay, judicial award, Janie is not able to be here, she's with like a class reunion, Rita was going to be here, but her brother-in-law ended up in the hospital, so we don't know how that's going. I haven't heard back from her. So tomorrow we will honor our judicial award recipient. I don't know if anybody wants, I'll say a couple things. It is the Honorable Andrea Duffy from Montgomery County, and that's in Pennsylvania. And she is quite accomplished. In addition, all the things that she has done, you'll hear about it tomorrow. But for instance, she has volunteered years and helped promote a civics program called Liberty and the Law to sixth graders at 5 local schools. She has taught and given lessons with topics such as what is the law, choosing political leaders, the Bill of Rights, juvenile court. So she's very involved in civics and in legal education in her community. She's also helped children participate in mock trials in the area. She works with the North Penn mock trials team at her at North Penn High School. So she's done quite a bit. In addition, apparently she's got a lot of accolades as a judge as well. So we will meet her tomorrow. Very thankful to Rita and to Janie for finding her, for choosing her. And this is the first time we've actually had a woman, I believe, that is our judicial award recipient. So anyway, she's been a judge since I think 2012. So she's and we are looking forward to meeting her. She is coming tomorrow and she's bringing her son, which I think is just wonderful. So hopefully maybe Rita will still be able to come. We don't know, but anyway, I'm so thankful that they headed up that committee. Jeannie.
Yeah, Montgomery County is a suburb of Philadelphia.
Oh.
My cousin happens to live.
Oh. I didn't know where it was in Pennsylvania. That's great. It's beautiful. Pictures. All right. Jeannie, I know we already gave out our awards last meeting. Do you want to say anything to the?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay. You did a wonderful job on that.
Well, I should also mention though that
those beautiful things that were on the table at that award. We did those, and they were beautiful, and I kept mine, it was so nice.
Oh, but you kept it so,
Beautiful.
I'm glad you kept it. It was a beautiful presentation. We had some wonderful pictures. And the lady that was unable to come, Kathy, I mailed her award to her because remember she hurt her back and had some issues and had to have surgery. And she was our volunteer.
She was a volunteer.
Yes. And so after she received her award, I told her, we'll mail you the award of the program, and she was online. We presented it to her online. She zoomed in for the, y'all remember those of you who were in New Orleans who weren't iced in. And after she got that award that Lucy orders every year, she emailed me and she said, Jennifer, that I didn't dream. I thought it was gonna be like little tiny, you know. She said, it is beautiful. She was so impressed with everything and so thankful, and she had a whole group with her at that Zoom meeting, they all went to our house, so she could get the Zoom award via Zoom, so it's really, really
I
sweet.
should also mention that Lucy has been so good.
Yes,
She's really taken over the awards for not just this one.
yeah,
She's done the ordering and all, getting it and shipping it.
yes, and she, yeah, and I had
And
Andrew,
you shipped it again.
Is Lucy on the Zoom?
No,
today?
no,
Oh.
no.
no, she said she wouldn't be able to. I talked to her yesterday, so. But Andrea Duffy is going to be here and I have her award, so we will present that to her in person, Judge Duffy. That Lucy award, so, okay, thanks, Jean, thanks for always heading that up. You do a great job. Auxiliary supports, that's Janet, that was Janet, and we presented those last time. Do you have anything else you want to add about that?
No, and sometime we'll be retiring and Mary Ellen and a couple other friends do it. With Jennifer, and we want to be co-chairs, we ought to work that out if anybody else would like to
Yes.
participate.
It's a fun committee,
Really
really.
well organized. And we have funds to be awarded.
We do, and encourage all your local auxiliaries to apply. Because, the more that we have to apply, we're able to award, everyone that applies is going to get something, I mean, so please apply.
On the website.
Yes, and I forget, when is the deadline every year, the end of November, yes, yeah, yes, so apply, and it's a wonderful program, I'm so glad we did that. Okay, Barbara, do you want to talk about CAR?
Sure, I passed out, I printed these at the hotel yesterday. So they're kind of like every other person, so if you wouldn't mind sharing. Looks like this, and there's a little lady on the front. And for those of you who do not know, and I think you probably all do, but
No, but do we have any more?
Here, I can share, we have two down
Okay,
here.
I'll give you. Okay, here you go, Sharon. There you go.
okay, for those of you who do not,
Sorry, you need a gavel.
I know.
They're way over
Pay
in the
attention.
corner.
You're gonna go to the corner. Okay, for those of you who don't know, the Carr family, she was deceased, but she was very active in local and probably our ALA, but I don't know, this was way before me. But they had no, children, nobody to leave their money to, so some of their money they left to us. $330,000 for us to use as we saw fit for our mission, which is law-related education. So that is what funds what we do. It funds our Teachers of the Year, it funds the auxiliary support awards, it funds all the things that we deem necessary. Now, we award those based on what we have earned from the 330,000. We do not dip down into that at all. So if we get down to that level, we can't be doing some of the things we're doing. So right now we are good. The first page, this will show you the numbers from when we first started. We originally had all our money in very safe investments. We had it in treasury bonds and things that were safe that would, never go down. And then we decided in 18 that we probably needed to take some of that money because we had, like at that time, over $450,000. So we decided to put some of that money in an area where it might earn us some money. So we put it in BlackRock and we've tracked it since then. And you can see the numbers as of yesterday. We had $136,000 in BlackRock. Now we put in 100. You got to put in 100 for your first investment, and then we added 25. But you can't look at 125 and 136 and say we've only earned $11,000 because that's not true. We've taken money out to
Right.
fund the things that we've been doing. but that just is a snapshot for you. What I think is really interesting is that when we first bought it, the stock price was $392. And yesterday, even though we had the market go down almost 400 points yesterday, that was not that bad.
no.
It's $717. So the stock has continued to accelerate and improve, so that's great. And we always, there's a note down there, we always keep 10,000 cash in case Sharon needs it for writing a check for any of our awards or anything we're doing, because she doesn't like to be there at the last minute and she can't write a hot check, so that's it.
Barbara,
Yes.
so what is cons?
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have, that's
And
the,
which fund is BlackRock? They have a bunch of them.
BlackRock is an equity firm, and I can show you, they have
Oh,
like
it's just for
hundreds,
the whole firm.
it's 100 stocks or
Oh,
more than
right,
100
that's why I
stocks
asked.
that
So
they
it's not
invest in.
One of them, it's them.
It's all of them, yeah. It's like defense stocks, it's pharmaceuticals, it's everything that they think is a hot thing right now. And it's continually, like all equity funds, it's continually trading.
Right.
So I could look at it tomorrow and maybe find that they sold something and bought something else. So I don't keep track of it to that detail.
And what's cons?
And the consolidated is the equity, the bonds and the very safe stuff. So that's the $270,000. Now, that's below the 330, but that doesn't matter. It's the total that cannot go below 330. And right now we have 417. Because Sharon is taking the money out for the meeting and for our awards that we're giving. So that is the updated number. I went in yesterday and did that, from what you had changed yesterday. And the other numbers here, you can't see it because it was black and white, but in 2022, our accounts were net of fees minus 7%. And in 2023, these are year-to-date numbers, and in 2023, we are up 7, almost 8%. So we're doing well this year, and the market's doing well, so we can't take credit for doing anything particular except just having the money there. Benchmark for S&P 500 was minus 18% in 2022 year-to-date, and this year-to-date is 6.5%. So the market is doing well, and we're just trucking along with it. This was a color chart, and it really doesn't make sense if you can't see it in color, but it just shows you the grayer part here. The most of our money is still in the treasury bonds and other bonds and things that just don't turn over very fast. And the darker number is where we have our equities, which is basically stocks. And then we have a little bit in cash there. And then this page was just to show you the chart of how things have been going. And you see yesterday, boom.
Yeah.
But that was not just due to the market. That was due to Sharon taking money out.
Yeah.
So it's start like that. So any questions on that? If you'd like, I'll go out and look tonight and get some of the names of the different companies. You'd recognize them all. I'm not gonna list them all, but I'll get some of the names and just so you can have an idea. You may want to invest in them yourself.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, they've done well. So thanks to everybody who agreed that was a good idea to do that. And
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, go ahead, Stephanie, ask a question.
My memory is that Alice Carr was elected president of the organization and passed away before she took office. So this was in honor of her husband decided to give money to us. And that's how it all started.
He evidently kept coming to the dinners and stuff. And he was very involved with it.
that's lovely. Did not know.
Do
Thank
you know
you.
about what year that was?
No, but I can look back through what I can find.
Virginia Paul was president. If you have your booklet.
Oh, yeah. Virginia.
If you have your booklet.
Oh, I'm talking about the Virginia Powell was president in 86.
Jenny Post,
87.
It was around there.
Okay, all right.
86.
Stephanie, could you repeat what you just said, and did we catch it?
My memory is that Alice Carr was elected as president-elect. Before she was installed, before she took office, she passed away.
Right.
And in her honor, her husband created this fund, and that's how it started.
Okay. Okay, and while you have the floor, Stephanie, can we go to law-related education?
Well, I am going to have to admit that I was pretty much didn't do anything.
That's okay.
Mary Ann Ferris usually takes the lead on that.
What was that again?
We were just talking about the law related education, and sort of the overarching.
Yes, Mary Ann and Stephanie. together.
My name is on there, I mean,
Yes.
name only, it looks like.
So Mary Ann, do you want to speak on that?
Yes, I do. I have
Great.
materials that people have. I have not been to a meeting in recent years, but I have been sending these out to different teacher of the year every year, and the division more, they've been getting a packet from me.
And Mary Ann, can you explain it for the new people? Can you
Yeah.
you can explain the packet? Okay.
It was once, I think everybody, the three of you have received, this is on our website, this is a coloring book that I created. That you can make, you can print just one page, you can print the whole thing, but it's kind of for a parent to teach them something about each picture that they're coloring. And I believe Virginia and Dominique probably doesn't have one, and I can't think, what is her name? Diane. Is there any, it's not, each one of them, okay? Because this is, you can make these. In fact, I finished them up last night. I wish they were more organized and had them finished before I left. My husband had a trip to stay in the hospital for a day. Sunday through Monday, and that delayed us leaving a day in Michigan. We did drive. And then I'm still just catching up on everything. I give one of these coloring books, or three of these coloring books on the, I notice that every year. But this, I suggested you have a law firm, your husband are involved in, you can make one of these to put in their waiting room.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And if children come in and maybe have a box of crayons there for them to color, depending upon their age. I just passed around my yearly report, and it's very similar to others in the past. I have not really created anything really new in the last 2 years. But if you go to our website, which in my report tells you about all the things that are on our website that I have created and contributed to for a lot of related education through the years. I'm going through, we're downsizing at home. And I found this box with Nancy Butler and I don't even remember the year.
Yes.
I only have $250 in my budget. Some years I don't spend any, some I donate some of the stuff that I've already done. But the year that Nancy and I went around, but this is when we created in Saginaw County, we created the mock trials, the videos that are on our website and are on YouTube. But I have all of these discs left over, so I would like you to take as many as you can, if you can contribute to your libraries. Just take them into a library, Steve, would you like to have this in your lending collection? Because it has the video, it has the laws, rights, and responsibilities, it has the Jack Corson mock trial, the Goldilocks mock trial, and the teaching unit. And one reason why I'm trying to get these out now is because so many people don't have the ability to use CDs anymore. Everything is on the web. That's why I'm suggesting library field to go out CDs. In fact, I've got a long time doing some of the videos because I didn't have it on my TV available. I've gone to the Outlander series and the library. So I would like for you, you see, I have quite a collection of it. It'll pass around. Many if you want to take them to libraries, give them to teachers. This would be a reminder for them that they're also on the web and easily. And if this is enough going around.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Evelyn, who's joined on Zoom.
Oh, hello, Evelyn.
Hi, Evelyn. Evelyn, we can't see your face, but hi. Oh, there you are. There you are. There. Hi.
When Nancy and I, first distributed these, we went to, right now, I can't even think of the name.
Have some.
Probably something to do with teachers. It was a social studies program, social studies national convention, and in fact, they drove down there. We have this that we gave out to everyone. with the instructions. I had to write it, he had the disc in it, we gave it to them, and I had portable TV that I had it on display going all the time in our booths. We were at that convention all the time. I'll pass that around so you can see what we did that year. So that year we spent more money than we've ever spent on LRE projects because it covered our expenses to drive all the way from Michigan to Kansas City to pick up names, students down to Texas and back. So I said, right here, and here's one of them. There's more than this, I need to. Thank you. I'm saying. Now, the other project that I have had that I've been doing for years is through, Liberty Day Institute, that was called. Andy McKean started this in Colorado. He now is retired and is in St. Charles, Missouri. And, he has now taken over this themselves because the foundation, the King Foundation in Colorado that was promoting this project. They're giving a pocket constitution to every fifth grader in Michigan, I have promoted it as every fifth grader. And he now promotes it to anybody because it goes to any level of education. And he still is distributing it, and he's concerned now because he's retired from the King Foundation, and the King Foundation decided they didn't want to keep promoting it across the country, just in Colorado. And so Andy didn't want his work to stop, and he still is promoting it across the country, but he doesn't have anyone to take over for him if something happens to him. So I am still promoting it, and that is the money that I got from you all last year for the awards. I distributed to every school in Saginaw County, Michigan. I no longer have the ability or the energy to do it statewide, which I was promoting for many years. But if you have never received any of these, I'll get that later. If you've not received any of these, I have some of these you can take with you, and you can, I'm going to be passing around this paper here. This is the pre-test and the after test. It's the same test. If you've never tested yourself on what you know, just go through it. Now, the answers are on it. And it tells you where, how it tells you the answer, it tells you where to go in here to find your answer. And that is the basics of the teacher's lesson plan that we give to the teachers when we distribute them to the fifth graders in Saginaw County. And in the center of this is different than most constitutions because they do not have 4 flashcards, you know, that 4 pages of flashcards, 24 flashcards in the center. And they basically are just trying to get the kids in to see what is in a constitution.
Yeah.
And we give it to each student as their own personal constitution, which I give to the teachers tomorrow and the judicial person. It's on the back, unfortunately, because I lost 2 days of my preparation time this weekend, I had to grab ones that I had ready for Franklin Lions Club, in my community. And this is where they get, recognition of it costs about $1.26 per student. By the time you add the shipping costs in it, it's gone up slightly there. And you can see the type of sticker. I would have had an ALA sticker on to get here today, but I didn't get those. So help yourself with if there's need of more. I have a whole bag down here. If you want more, make sure that they get in the hands of people that can use them. But when the kids take them home, because they're theirs, we have parents that are looking at a constitution that they maybe never have.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they haven't looked at it since they were in school.
Even then.
I wanted to say that a couple of years ago, when you first mentioned those, I called him and ordered, it was reasonable, like $35 or $40, and gave them to my grandchild was at that time age appropriate, in, 3rd or 4th grade. and they loved it. The teacher loved it. It was so simple, you know, I took it into her classroom.
Nice.
So they're the cutest book. I mean, they really are. Yeah, they're nice to have for us.
Yes.
All right, this is the test. The first thing you need to do, I have enough for everybody to take one of these, but I pass enough around.
Yes.
If you want more, I have more. And take one of these and test yourself. See what you know about it. And Virginia, I'll be interested to know what you know.
I think my knowledge is very limited.
I did. And, I also have
Yes, yes, we got it. And Marianne, so it's like,
Here's one more.
I need a test.
The lesson plan that I give to the teachers, and then if you are giving this to anyone, you can ask for it electronically. You can print any of your own for me, I have it in my computer. So I'm passing this one around, take it, I have 30 here, so.
Don't we have one of these online too, the test?
They're all
On
online. I'm
our
not sure that,
website.
I'm not sure that these two are online.
And on our ALA website.
There it can be updated on
We
the
have it
website, I believe. Because I just read some of this too.
I have.
I go through different organizations that get help funded, and because of the pandemic, I lost a lot of them on the interior. And I haven't had the energy to go around and give programs to all the different service clubs, you know, like I used to do. I used to go all over the state and do that. Wow.
And so Marianne, should we, that we do exactly as Joette did, if we want to distribute anything, we order these from him directly?
Yes, and
Okay.
it would be in the instructions that I passed around.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you,
just
okay,
email me and I can send you
Okay.
instructions, and he's very punctual in getting them out.
okay.
We aim for September 17th, because that's the date.
Constitution Day.
Yes, Constitution Day, and it's mandated that every teacher teaches, in every grade level, teaches something about the Constitution on that day. But it's not just the teachers when they use it.
Are you saying that's in Michigan, or are you saying that's
This
in
is
Michigan?
nationwide.
Nationwide.
An hour mandated.
Are you saying a particular day, because if I go see the teacher, I want to be able to say.
September 17th, should know that.
Okay,
If not, they should be reminded of it, because
Okay.
it was mandated by Dwight Eisenhower.
Marion, can you give us his contact info? I think I see it in here, the guy.
It's in there, I'll just.
It's on the back of the booklet.
If you could
I
read it
might
from
not
the
have put
booklet.
it in there because I was giving that to teachers, I'm not sure.
If you could just give his phone number.
I can print out how to page, and that's where it is.
I don't have a phone.
I will, I will just give it to, who should I give it to, the email?
You could just
Email
tell
to
us about.
Noel.
You can
you
email
can
everybody.
Noel can email everything to the group.
We got a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Wrap it up for you.
He's not here. Yeah, Noel will do it. It's not here, we'll give her anything.
I think that's where I got it from here.
Virginia, you have any more of these? When I take them, because they will.
Right. Okay, very good, thank you. Is there anything else, Marianne? That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited about getting this in our school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's, Kitty, long range planning.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, wait, do you have a question, Sharon? I'm sorry.
no, I got plenty of.
Oh, it looks like. Okay, yeah, Virginia's got another one. Okay, Kitty, you want to go to long range planning?
Let's get a long range planning. The ALA was kind enough to give us $2,500 so we could be a sponsor at the National High School Mock Trial Competition in Little Rock, Arkansas. And so Barbara Smallwood and Jennifer and myself and a good friend of Barbara Smallwood, who's a former teacher, we went to Little Rock and had a wonderful time. This is the most amazing program I've seen. It's very similar to We the People, but totally different at the same time. This is the actual mock trial program. I'd like to have this back, but I'd love for you all to look at it. It has, it's not just the mock trial kids that are doing this. You have awards for the artist recognition. You have your artist in the courtroom. The, means the picture, draws a picture of the people, and you also have your journalist recognition. So the people that write articles about the mock trial. Now, the mock trial, I'm skipping around here first. It was in Little Rock, and it had It was approximately almost 500 students and about 900 coaches, teachers, and parents. So it's a huge group of people that come to this thing. And we got involved in it. I contacted Anthony McMullen, who's a professor at Arkansas State University, who was wonderfully patient with me as I asked a zillion questions, one at a time, several million emails. But anyway, it was wonderful, and we went, and basically what we did, we were asked, allowed whatever, to speak at 2 roundtables, the teachers roundtable and the coaches roundtable. And we did, we were given 5 minutes each roundtable. And we all know we can speak fast. And we were able to push or present our program. Jennifer spoke about ALA in general, and I spoke about the Toy Award and the Jurgermeyer Scholarship. Well, when they heard the word money, and we're here to give them money, would they pop up with yes, 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 yes. That's what we did in Little Rock, and were invited to the judges' dinner, which was held in William Clinton library, which is an amazing place. And we were also invited to the awards banquet, which was so much fun because they had all students are there, and then they had the top 10 classes come one by one into, there were cheers and yells and screams, of course, because high schoolers do that. So it's almost like an NCAA tournament. Everybody's did that. And then the top 2 had a baseball kind of, they had the last mock trial, and it was the 2 top mock trials were Iowa and New Mexico. And they did their mock trial, student who was going to be the winner. So it was very, very close. This I will pass around. Joette was kind enough to get us wristbands that we could give out to the students there. And the wristbands have on there QR code that takes them directly to the Jurgermeyer Scholarship. So if you want to just pass them around, I do want to back everybody use them. Hopefully, when you approve us to go to Wilmington, I would like to have them again. So I'm kind of not sure what to tell you. There were 46 teams from 46 states and Seoul, South Korea. So they come from very different places. And the trial is interesting. It's a murder trial that occurs at a school board meeting. They did that, but of course you don't, in the hallway, you don't see who did it and why and all that. So it was, that was the trial. And the kid, I was telling somebody, there must have been a run on blue blazers because everybody wore blue blazers that they blazers wear, right? And they were very professional, well-groomed, lovely, wonderful children. You know, all high school kids. And they were so polite and so welcoming, and they appreciated us so much. And the mock trial people appreciated us being there. Because I'd love to have you guys jump in, Barbara, Jennifer, anybody else want to jump in on this, because we had such a good time. And the trials were 2 a day, and our job was to act as escorts. So we would escort the judges to the courthouse, which was all walking distance in Little Rock and beautiful weather. And we went over there, and then we sat through the trial, not in the jury box, but over here. And while they did the trial, and the judges had scoring sheets, so we collected the scoring sheet and then walked them back to the hotel. Well, most of them were really good. So anyway, got the scoring sheets, turned those in, and then that was how the judging was done. We scored. So
I just was so excited, and Kitty did a great job working with Anthony, the gentleman in charge, to coordinate all of this. I mean, we sent our brochures ahead of time, so all the teachers would have these in their big packets. We ordered the wristbands for the students. I mean, it was a huge, program. You know, it was a great undertaking.
We never done.
One of the things I found interesting, and we sat in, there would be a trial in the morning and then a trial in the afternoon.
Yes.
And the team that was the prosecuting team in the morning might be the defending team in the afternoon. So they had to mentally switch back and forth between prosecuting or defending.
Interesting was the names were neutral,
Yes.
general. So some people were Scout. So Scout could be a boy or girl.
Right.
And
Alex, I think it was an Alex or something like that.
so they could change back. Of course, I did first trial, the person was a male. Well, in the afternoon, all of a sudden that person was speaking. I'm like, "Wait, what happened?" But they could switch back and forth, so they had to learn
Yes.
both sides, prosecution and defense. And apparently this one, my husband actually came with us and he was a judge, which was, he had never done it, so that was fun for him. And he was so impressed that one girl was on the stand and she cried real tears. She could make herself cry, like,
Yeah.
I didn't know you really were really about the judge.
They were very good.
These kids were actors and they did a good job.
The other thing, in the group that I was in, which this really surprised me, they asked the students, how many of you are considering going into law?
No, interesting.
Very interesting.
But it's a great experience for anything you want to go into.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But to not be planning to be a lawyer or go into law, it really, now, I don't know if that's indicative or not, this is one group.
Yeah, I think that some were interested in it, some I thought they were interested in it, but they're seniors in high school.
Yeah, they don't know what they're gonna do, yeah,
Do all the states have mock trials?
yes.
I think
Every
they
state
should.
was represented, weren't they?
46 states are represented, and I don't know if it just didn't, it's didn't make it, who knows, I don't know.
Maybe they didn't have the money.
It's
Because some don't have the money to travel.
it's the top team.
From each state.
They have
That
state
goes to
competition.
the- It's like a league, the top team from each state goes to the finals. And these good girls, well, trained, well.
I just want to say, did Kitty have the idea to do this? Because I think this is such a good place to,
Well,
what we do.
I found it when we were looking for something to give money to.
Right.
And I looked around to see, well, what can we do? And I found this organization and contacted them and they were delighted.
They were.
And so we decided that, the different categories, you'll see that in the book that's going around, the different categories of sponsorship. And so we decided this is X amount of money,
Yeah.
what will this do?
Yes.
$2,500, and so we were on the website, we were out there on the board, we got some real.
Yeah.
Good exposure, and I think that's helped us get so many more applications
Yes.
this year. For the year, so.
I think to brag about Noel too, because,
Oh,
this wristband thing only worked because
Because of you are.
if you, when we pass it around, if you put your phone on it, look, it'll come directly up, not to our website, but to the Jurgen.
To the Jurgen.
Scholarship.
Right.
So it's kind of fun to.
Yeah. Well, and I would say one more other quick thing, and then, but they, like I say, I thought we were just gonna be, okay, y'all sit here and get this out, that's it, but I mean, we really have a goal. So I'm gonna encourage everybody to go, and then we were basically, once we escorted, we had a little place to sit, we were supposed to make sure everything, we were like monitoring the courtroom. And, I remember, like, if someone was about to come in late, they would look at me and go, I mean, they thought we had this huge role. May I please enter on? Sure. I mean, it's like, but I mean, it was, we really had a role and I felt like we were needed. And we really were
They
needed.
so appreciate
Yes.
us being there.
Yes.
And thanked us, and that's why, that was Anthony in Little Rock. Now, it's gonna be Wilmington, Delaware.
And everyone can go, let's all go.
Right, and we had such a good time just doing it.
I'm ready to go. Oh, we had a ball.
So it's in Wilmington, Delaware, May 2 to 5 on the 24th. And anybody can go, wants to go, happy to have all
Yes,
them.
you'll
And
getting information.
Kim has already said, I'm gonna put you in touch with Daniel Attaway, he's the guy in Delaware who's going to be running it. And so we're gonna get in touch with him. But I didn't want to get in touch with him unless I had permission to have another $2,500, which was well worth it. And I'm not even sure that that's the amount, but that's what we're gonna propose to sponsors. Yeah.
That's a wonderful place to be, a good venue, because we have Longwood Gardens and Ski Pond.
Oh,
If you want to have a vacation, there's a lot to fear on the Lions Museum.
It's.
So can we get a motion? Oh, go ahead. Did you- No, there was nothing important. Oh.
Oh, that is cool.
Should that we give $2,500 for the ALA participation in the mock trial in Delaware?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will say this, at the committee meeting yesterday, we did approve this at the committee approved. it. So we're coming to the board with the recommendation from the committee that we give $2,500. And I guess vote on that since it's coming from me as a recommendation from the committee. Where was that?
I thought it was 2,500 plus 500 in case there's an incidental.
Right,
Yeah, that was my pick. $2,500 plus 500 for incidentals that we don't know about.
Yeah, and then the motion would come from the community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it was, yeah, it was
Okay, I'm trying
trying to get word again.
You need a second on that? Do we need a second on that?
Do we need a second when it comes from committee?
I don't think so, I think we just need the motion,
Okay.
and then we vote on it.
one question.
Go ahead, Alex.
For our treasurer, we have enough money to do that.
Good question. If we straighten up our meetings expenses, I think it would be great. And I think we're planning to do that, so.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we don't have another ice storm.
Right.
I think that the card would be delighted, because I think, I mean, basically, we're here because of the car money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's face it, and I think this is a really good law-related education.
Is he still alive?
Who?
Mr. Carr.
Oh,
I didn't think so.
This, wait, who was the second on that?
We didn't need a second.
Can
I just read the?
Yes, from out here.
This is Alice speaking. Okay, I made the motion that the recommendation from the executive board that we give $2,500 plus $500 expenses to the.
Long range planning. For, the
Community
long-
trial.
I think
Yeah.
maybe should we say $500 for marketing expenses, or for incidentals, or I guess expenses is fine, yeah, that's what they're doing, yeah,
Marketing incidentals.
and expenses, how about that?
Yeah.
And all in favor? Yeah. All in favor? No,
I didn't want to say.
Whatever.
well, because it came from committee.
It's just a video. But Alice made the meeting.
Well, yes, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one.
Where's our volunteer?
Who was on commentary?
It comes from committee.
Chocolate over here.
Steve, what do you think? Do we need a motion and a second, or can we just say it's recommendation of the committee of the executive committee?
I thought a lot of stuff comes from the executive. I thought that was just from long-range planning. And something comes from that committee, then you, well, yeah,
It went
Then it
to the
goes-
executive too.
Well, we just executive because of the money.
right. But doesn't most of our motions go through the executive?
I guess they sure do, yeah, a lot of it.
I mean,
So,
whatever.
so we want to know, do we need a second?
Well, just do it in case we need it.
Yeah.
Okay, don't go for
Okay,
it.
this day.
Cheryl for the second. Okay. Just in case. We'll cover everything.
Okay.
All in favor? Opposed?
I think it's wonderful.
Yes, and you had a question?
I have a question about the Carr family. And do you communicate with them?
No.
No,
We used to, right, along with they were, when he was alive, yes.
I don't know when that was.
But you said they have children. No, no children.
There was, with the descendants or the family back when, before my time, way before my time, but they decided to give it all to us.
I'll see what, I'll go back through and see if I can find anything from,
Yeah.
I have a whole lot of newsletters that go back like to
Yeah.
the eighties or something.
Wonderful.
So you don't have to send them an annual report?
No, no.
We don't.
Yeah.
They do not. And for the Yergamar, we do communicate with Nancy Har, the daughter, and she just likes to know who won. She doesn't request to send in the report because it's just the 10,000, but we do communicate with her. And we are in touch with her and we let her know who wins, and she just likes to kind of, be a little once in a while. She's very delighted.
I just, this is kind of related, but we've been talking about getting new members, right? How to
Yes.
reach out. So Stephanie's gonna be the mouthpiece, but we're going to the Travis County Women Lawyers big brouhaha where we need the judges. She's gonna be my escort because she's gonna do the talking, looking for members, but thinking about the moot court, you know, they have them in law schools.
Yes, the mock trial.
And the top trial, yeah, they call it court law school, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we could maybe get involved in that and get some, maybe see if we can plant the seed for some members. I'm not saying necessarily give money, but could we go volunteer? UT, I'm sure
Yeah.
has something. maybe we should look into volunteering there, and that may be a way to introduce them to organization and see if we can get, just plant some seeds to become members.
Right, I think that would be great if we could get into there and then maybe we could do that. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
If you have a way to,
I don't know anybody in UT. I didn't go to law school there. Does anybody in UT? I don't personally.
my husband. Your husband. Your husband, my husband went there.
I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Oh, sure. Okay, so we got people that can maybe chat about this. Okay.
See what are options.
I was just amazed that these people have come out of the woodwork after all these years, like, Deborah's.
No, Deborah Sharp, yeah.
Really
Yes.
amazing. You know,
Yes,
and
very
there was
generous.
Something to do with, we haven't kept up with it.
Well,
And they obviously
her
give
mother
that-
passed away several years ago, I believe, and they were trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah, she contacted me, yeah.
She contacted me
And
through
you
the
said-
newsletter
and
and
you
I
said-
said, oh, Barbara will help you out.
So,
And it worked out.
wow, Deborah Jarvis is very generous.
Very
with the
generous.
Center for Civic Education.
Yes.
She has given them quite a bit, and they were able to open a whole new ranch, so she's.
I think she funded one of their, development people.
She did.
Yeah. So speaking of the membership, that was a good segue that Virginia gave. Barbara, do you want to speak on membership? as the next-
Yeah, I put it up on the screen so our Zoom people could see it. I'm hoping you can see it on there. Okay, good. So I'm gonna kind of read, you'll see the back of my
There
head.
is the membership report in your packet.
Yeah.
It is a short little report that's in your packet.
Okay,
Most of these reports are in your packet if you want to look at.
yeah, I couldn't find that one, but it's okay. The membership stats for this last year, I show 78 life members and 12 sustaining life. And sometimes I miss an email that Sharon has sent with updates and stuff, so that it could be right, it could be wrong. Sustaining life is a way for life members to continue to fund our organization. I know we all paid the $300 or whatever for life membership, but if you could continue to support 25, 30, there's no set amount. I think 25 is the minimum, some people pay more. And then on paid memberships, I show 23, but we have some people who said this was a membership, but they were already a life member. So those numbers are just kind of, they're what they are. The roster, I mailed 120 rosters. And then anything that's returned, I update the data file, and if we can't find an address on them, or if they're deceased or whatever, I move them to a different part of the spreadsheet. I don't send Sharon and Steve a roster. I send Sharon a roster. I figure Steve probably doesn't need it. I don't send Patrick a roster.
That's right.
I figure, our members need the roster, not necessarily, even though the spouses pay for membership, they don't need to have another roster. So 120 rosters were sent out. And what I do when I send them out, and these won't go out till probably September, because I've got to update the bylaws changes and any changes you have to your contact information in the roster. But I always, in bright yellow paper, put in a dues notice. Your dues are due, send your check to Sharon. And I guess we get some things off of that. Some people sign their dues online and they go through the online system. That delays the process because you don't get it right away and I don't get it right away, which is okay as long as we get it. But there's a delay process with doing it online, but it's easier to do it online. So that's just my thought there. We're gonna add our toy recipients to the database for our mailing, so they'll know what's going on. And after 2 years of not paying dues, not for lifetime, but for people who just haven't paid their dues, and there's columns in my spreadsheet for having paid your dues. And if I have a string of no dues paid, they're getting dumped for the roster and they're not gonna get one mailed to them. Okay, if you're not gonna participate and support us. Now, they can still go online, they can still do things online with Noelle. She doesn't take them off her deal. I just take them off the printed roster. Let's see, anything else?
Barbara, do you want us to pass anything around in case someone has the information is wrong in their directory, or if they have a new address, or is there a better way to do that, or are you not worried?
Well, I meant to bring a roster so it could be passed around and people could just,
I brought a,
why don't you pass that around? If anybody has any changes to their stuff, it'll all be in one document and then I can look at it.
Good idea.
here we go. If anyone has any changes or additions, we're gonna.
Yeah, like if you want your home number deleted now and
Yeah,
just have your
delete out.
cell number.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes,
And here's another point of discussion. This really isn't membership, but it kind of is because it's roster related. We talked yesterday about, and I think I know the answer, do we continue to print the bylaws in the roster?
Yes, what do y'all think about that? What?
Let's see, I would say,
They're all
how
online.
much money does it save?
How much money does it save or?
It's nice to have it together.
It is nice to have it all together. I know a lot of people like to bring it to the meeting and they don't bring their computers to the meeting, so they like to be able to look up things. Although we could have them, well, I think you print out the bylaws now because there's.
Everyone should have a bylaws copy.
So you do have a copy today, but I really don't, I don't know, it'll save maybe 10 pieces or 5 pieces of paper back, front and back. It'll save a little bit on postage. I'll ask our printer. I don't think it makes that much difference.
Go ahead, Stephanie, you have them.
I think it should be in there. I do, because you're looking at something and you want a quick reference, and it's just right there.
You have to go otherwise find it online or last year's word.
Yeah.
I have
and
to
then it makes
admit,
it-
I used it a lot, cause I had my directory with me this year, and I had my directory at my desk right there. And I was just, oh, wait, and I would
Can I do this?
have to say.
Well,
I
it
didn't use
is
it quite a
one
bit.
bit. I just wanted to bring that up because we talked about it yesterday.
Right.
And I'm fine with whatever, because I've already got it programmed, so.
Yeah.
It's no big
Do
deal.
we need to take a motion? I have a motion.
No, not if we're not gonna change it. If we're just gonna leave it in there, then we don't, yeah. Yes,
Along the lines of parliamentary procedure, I did look up about every motion needs a second, and it says, no, that's not true. If the motion comes from a committee or a board makes a recommendation in the form of a main motion, don't need a second.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
So then-
we were good then.
Okay, Dawn, I have a really quick question. Reagan she's in charge of the rooms here. She can take a quick picture of us, or do y'all wanna wait till tomorrow? Or do y'all wanna take a picture? Or do y'all wanna take a 5-minute break? And, she can take a quick picture of us out in the hall.
That's fine.
Okay, we can take a quick break. And then we will do.
No, I'm done. I'm
Okay,
done.
okay, then we'll do the nominating committee, which will be a very quick report. Cause they've already done all the work, so, so Cheryl will give us that report. So don't step outside, we're gonna take a group picture and we will take. She's offered to take the first, we can all be in it. And then if y'all wanna make a quick rescue run, anybody, the rescues are down in the hall. And let's be back here, let's see, maybe quickly as you can, let's get right back, so we can get out. We can get. And you got it.
Well, ladies, we're taking a break and we're gonna go in the hall and they're gonna take a picture. But we'll take a picture of you all on the screen. So that will be in the result. Yeah, we'll Photoshop you in somehow. So 5-minute bio break. Hey, Dodie and us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We were planning on lotus flowers.
Yes.
So Sharon, how's your leg doing?
Well, it was doing better. Well, it's never gonna be normal. But
Really?
Monday, I started having some sharp pains in it. And I went Tuesday and had an X-ray done. And there's something in the hardware.
So I gotta go to the doctor when I get back.
What did they do? Did they put in like a steel plate or?
I have a plate and 9 screws.
Wow.
Okay. Anyway.
So
My
I'm
sister-
wearing a brace, but I didn't wear it today because we're sitting for so long. and I
Yeah.
Want circulation to my leg, my foot, you know.
Yeah, my sister had a her horse fell on her probably 10 years ago.
You need to go get our picture.
Oh, picture. I'm just sitting here
And
thinking,
I like your mom here.
well, you know, you get enough gray in there, you gotta figure out something.
What?
Get enough gray, you gotta figure out something, because my hair is normally really dark, and I didn't like that combination.
Right, and, they say she did all that, she comes like. They say that, you know, and my daughter.
Yes, I know. I knew there were gonna be more of it like this. That's good with this, so I'll just use this. I'm sorry. You're. Oh. Let me get out of your way there.
Thank you.
Has
your health settled out so much?
Kind of, but there's always something. that
Yeah.
seems-
Nice to know.
That's what I say.
Yeah, not fair, right?
No, not fair.
You don't deserve that.
I don't, but what can you do?
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Anyway, I love my new thing.
That is wonderful. I have not seen one like that. That's great, because most of them, you know, you're gonna have.
I know, this is the problem.
Yeah,
Like this.
and you can't see them.
No, you can't see it
Doing that.
because you're so afraid.
I am.
of hitting the top
Yeah.
or something.
Jennifer, did you find the cards?
I have not found the cards
Oh.
that's the birthday card from Janet.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to go and get to another, should I give her for Pauline too?
or just?
Sweet, that'd be
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, I thought she was, we try to communicate, but it's hard to
It
get.
is, it is.
So I'll give her for Pauline and Lucy.
That's perfect.
Okay, sometimes her son will sign her on like.
Yes.
but-
Yes, that's how we did last time. Her son spoke to me and we got it all worked out and we actually had a nice conversation. And y'all, I have two really pretty cards and I'm really upset with myself.
You go.
That's good.
Next
I
in
am
line,
just-
did this go with
Because
this?
I never been jumping.
I don't get a.
Oh, this is a hotel pen.
Okay, so
It's
that's
not a
a
fancy
Yes.
one, yeah.
I'm just trying to get enough people to sign it while she can ask for a reading.
Yeah.
Cause you're
Good
sitting
idea.
next to her.
I know.
I better get you.
And she's busy with her screen to see. if her
I know,
face is on.
she's got lots to do.
So I'm gonna. Same with those. Well, anyway.
I'm gonna get out of your way.
Maybe we can just put it there and come pass it around.
Yeah.
The Stephanie's right there, and get her to sign it. And Diane can sign it.
And this is the hospital side of it. What is it? They call it cystitis. So they put it in a hospital overnight. Well, bleeding from his penis, blood clots. Oh, no, pain. Oh, no, and he's stayed up all night. The roster go to. And I've been working with him right away. I did.
He did.
And it just happened.
She should be down there. She's got a great.
Yeah. But they can't tell me it wasn't COVID, and they can't tell me. Oh. But there, right now, it's changed. The decision was that it was cystitis, which normally is a bacterial or UTI, but it's radiation. Her eyes closed, so many different. And she. But. Sorry. Oh, okay. We don't have a hospital.
That's the word.
And I had to go.
Coming down.
And we left at 6 Tuesday morning.
Maybe we can just,
And we've been stopping every 2 hours.
some of us walk.
And hydrate.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
then when we get back.
It's a birthday card for Janet. Yeah.
Two. My job, they're saying it's just. The radiation, that it is recited, I guess, they never told us the time. So they decided on one.
Yes.
Yesterday, he was talking. I'm tired right now. That's well. So it is. Linda Garvin. But we have.
Oh, yeah.
You know Linda Garvin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, but see, if it's just, that's been thinking that again, I mean. Theoretically, I pay. I think I need a bunch of stuff on.
Are you going?
Yeah, of course. You know, I feel like my daughter get older. And you know, you gotta make sure you have a lot of medical.
I am so proud of y'all. That,
Make it back.
I think we did great. We have so much back. We got in and out very quickly. Go ahead, Mary.
See, moving around, I need to get rid of borrow these things.
Okay.
Because I need to get into the library.
do you do Grace Candace, computer?
It works on the CD player. It's the same player that I rent.
Oh, no.
It's the video stuff. The library, it's a player on the computer.
I actually bought a CD player. Cause this doesn't have one.
Good.
Yeah, this one doesn't have a CD player. So I got it. It's like watch Battlefield gameplay.
Okay.
Not a lot of fights. I don't necessarily like all of it.
I know. All right, so, take those to the libraries. It really has new places to go. I'll take them.
Hey, Stephanie.
Okay, so,
Use a little bit.
all right, thank you so much for being so quick and for the pictures. And let's get back to it. Y'all are doing great. We're doing great. All right, Cheryl, would you like to just go over the slate? Cheryl's gonna present the slate. We will vote on that tomorrow. But she's gonna present the slate of officers for 2023-24.
Ready, yeah.
Yeah, just in case you don't know.
Okay, President Janet Bollinger. President-elect Dominique Varner. First Vice President Jody Manning. Second Vice President Evelyn Albright. Secretary Dean Skilton. President, Treasurer Sharon Chapelier. Immediate past president, yeah, I heard that is. Directors for 2022 and through 2024. Marianne Ferris. Deborah Jarvis. Jamie Teet. Virginia Sampson. Dominique Varner. For 2023 through 2025. Guy Harrison. Lucy Harrison. Joette Rieger. Noel Roberts.
Right, that don't vote on the 22-24.
Yeah, right. Just the
But you can just.
23-25.
It was good to know.
Yes, yes, well, exactly, that's a good point. Tomorrow when we vote, we'll vote on the others. So that's the slate, and it was sent out according to bylaws over 3 days ago to everyone.
Good job.
And so we are good to go on that. We will vote on that tomorrow, correct? All right. Thank you so much for all your work on the nominating committee. That's a hard job. It's
Good job, good job.
good job. Okay, so next, Natalie is not here. She had another commitment this week. But so she does the past presidents and life members, and so she tries to kind of keep us all connected, which is very nice. Natalie is very good about keeping up with people, about calling people, so I'm really thankful for what she does. I did not get a report. Did anyone else? Okay, go ahead, Jean.
I just, a Facebook friend right now, she couldn't come because she's just gotten back from a reunion in Minneapolis. I have tried to contact my three people. I got through and talked a long time with Linda Jarvis.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
She had a severe stroke.
Oh,
And,
Linda Jarvis.
yeah, now, and, primary care, we learned how to do the laundry and cook.
Oh, I can't imagine.
And, you know, and she was in rehab for 21 days.
wow.
It's pretty bad, but her right elbow, it sounds like she is partially, her right leg is still bothering her. But it was a tactic, but she, I mean, I hear her in a conversation, and I mean, that part is fine. So, but, and then I did try to get a hold of Eloise.
Yeah.
And I left a message and I didn't get a call back. I'll in the next call her.
And then, Jan has something to say about Jackie.
Jackie Rothermel, has a fracture, what's it called,
Depression.
fracture in her back.
Ooh.
She cracked her back about a couple weeks ago when she was she and John went to Wisconsin to her cousin's memorial service. And they stopped along the way and picked up Jackie's brother and sister-in-law. And Jackie picked up their suitcase
Oh.
and tried to put it in the car and then made
Oh,
it
my
back.
Oh.
She is supposed to be going to the doctor today at 4:30, so hopefully I can tell you what the doctor said. She went to her primary doctor, immediately when she got home, but she had to wait to see the.
Orthopedic.
They had to try to make a caution for doing something to your back, putting something and
Yes.
putting it in the front of your car. And then you can, I haven't vacuumed in years, my husband does.
And then I did talk to Lucy, just a quick update, she's little pain right now, and so she wasn't able to make it, but she said she was gonna miss us all very much. So she didn't even think she told me she would not log in on the meetings, that because she just wasn't feeling Lucy.
What about Mary Ellen Bogart?
Mary Ellen she and Roger are so busy that they were just unable to make room in the schedule.
She says it's all good though.
It's all good stuff. Very good, yeah. Okay, so state and local affiliates, Dominique.
Well, I continue to try to get updates for Noel for the newsletter.
Yeah.
I think I've got a few that I hear from pretty regularly, some that I don't hear from at all.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard from anyone from Saginaw
Yeah, I think so.
besides me?
Yeah, maybe that was you guys.
I know, I've been trying to, we rule by committee, we don't have another person to do a president. And, I'm delegated too much of it anyway, so I've been trying to reach somebody
Well,
else.
if you have, send me email contacts, I will email them directly. And, I'll try to give them a suggestion of what kind of information to give me, like Houston Bar Association, I'm very active, so we always have something going on. And I know most of the bars are not as active as we are, but, just anything coming out, but it's really contacts, I have a database, but I haven't added to it in a while, so. If anybody knows of local, I did add the Beaumont recently, through this group, so.
You said you have been in contact with them?
Yes, because I understand they just reaffiliated with the
And we have a success there, and Stephanie's part of the story, but Beaumont is southeast Texas, and they had a huge, it's a rival in Houston's bar auxiliary, and then, during COVID, it broke up. And as things go, nobody really wanted to start it back again and take that hit, but a girl over there named Ina Parsons, who Stephanie's spoken with, has agreed she will start it back again, and that's the kind of city that is. Everybody's in either the junior league or they're in a deal like that. So I think it'll rebloom and probably be, it was 140 something members until not long ago, so.
Okay.
And they're like,
I'll follow up with her.
she's a go-getter, and her mother-in-law is too. I used to live in Beaumont, but they have the strength like Houston does of a real variety of attorneys, non-attorneys, young, old. And I'd like to hear how you all think you did that in Houston. How you've kept that.
Well, it's really just a matter of asking people to join. They don't know anything about the organization, and, you just, for me, I brought in people who weren't even lawyers, had nothing to do with law, have joined the HBAA. One of my good friends who just moved back from Singapore, it's just a way for her to meet people.
Well, like Noelle, I invited Noelle to be a member of our Austin group, and she became a member, and then she became a member of the state, and Noelle's now. It's just that one question, what do you want to do? If some people do, some people don't.
Right.
It is good to ask, I think that's a good answer.
So y'all do have information too from your affiliates, be sure that Dominique knows.
So please send me with anything, any new, well, that's really what I need, is I need to build my database. Any bar auxiliaries that have reactivated. I know a lot of them have died, but.
Dominique, would you be interested in me sending you a list of the names of who just kind of dropped off on the way and haven't paid? And they just disappeared from the site, and then you could touch base with them, say, come on back, we're doing great things.
Sure.
That might make more impact roads than
Yeah.
just sending a,
I think
news
that's,
notice.
yeah, the more, personal connection with,
And their emails may not be valid anymore, but they may. I'll put that together and send it to you. Thanks.
Great.
Well, thanks, Dominique, for doing that, because we need to keep up with our state affiliates, and I like knowing what everybody else is doing, so that's really good. Okay, Alice, tributes and memorial, and everybody should have a report on that as
Do you
well, that
have-
Alice sent.
Well, have your report in
Yes.
front of you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks to Sharon. For giving me the names of the people that have donated. On this list, we only have 16 people. So see if your name is on here. If it isn't, today is a great day to give Sharon your $25. So my goal is to have at least 10 more names added today or tomorrow. So that we have, because, I know we all intend to be active members, and I think that if we can all reach in our little books and send Sharon and put $5 today, then we'll add you to our list. Yes.
I'm new and I don't know what this is about. I've never heard of this before.
Well, this is a list of people that want to recognize somebody that for a birthday or an anniversary.
Or somebody died.
Or someone that died, you can give extra money, but as well as a sustaining life member, that's, yeah. You can be a sustaining life member, and that is also rendered.
So give a check that says this and it goes into that account.
It goes just, I think, in general account.
It goes for the teacher award. This money goes to help support the teacher award.
You could do it online.
Yeah.
You can go online
You
and
know,
do
it
it.
helps the organization as well.
Well, and Alice, I'm so glad you keep up with that, and thank you for chairing that committee.
And another thing, I think that in our newsletter, we should, is remind our members every time that, please pay your dues.
Yes.
Or please remember an anniversary or a memorial.
That's a great idea.
Just like you're told about the scholarships, if you haven't sent, this is your deadline, please get your dues in. I think that really encourages.
This will have to go out with the president's letter because of the wonderful job that Noel is doing.
Yes.
We're discontinuing newsletter. And so, everything is gonna be on the internet.
Right.
Yeah.
On the web.
But you'll send an email and let people know that.
Well, it's gonna be in part of their e-blast probably.
Yeah.
That's where she would put it, and that's where you put notices like that. Don't forget to pay your dues.
Is that right? And the scholarship deadlines with that.
Yes,
on
that's
it?
all
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that I think is wonderful.
She's just doing a wonderful job, Noelle.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'll remind her, because that's a good point, just to make sure that remind her to pay dues on there, and that you can make donations in memory of someone, or in honor of an anniversary, and in honor of somebody as well, so that's a great idea. Well, thank you, Alice, and thank you for your report. And, okay, so next we go to special committees. Judy is not here, but tomorrow we will vote on the new bylaws, and you will see that in your packet, you have a copy of the bylaws. And what we're going to vote on is, it's been recommended to add the immediate past president, that's Article 6, Section 1, as a list of the officers. So we're now going to read: the officers shall consist of a president, president-elect, first vice president, second vice president, secretary, treasurer, and immediate past as advisory only. So that's what the recommendation has been. We will vote on that tomorrow. And you have a copy of the bylaws, and those were also sent out via Noel 30 days prior. We also are going to change section, is proposed to change section 8. I'm sorry, Article 8. I can find it. Section 1, and that is: the nominating committee shall still consist of 5 members, but it's been changed just a bit. 2 elected by the membership at its annual meeting, which we'll do tomorrow. 2 appointed by the president, and then 1 will be the immediate past president. So that is going to also be changed as well. That's what we'll be voting on tomorrow. All right, so that's in your packet, the bylaws, and we'll be voting on that tomorrow at our meeting. And that was approved by Judy, and we also approved that, I believe, those we recommended those changes at the last meeting. Okay, so Kitty, do you want to talk any more about this trial or anything?
Well, that's Center for Civic Education. I did report it, it's in your folder somewhere. I just said that this was the first time they were able to have it in person since 2019. So this is pretty exciting for them all to get together. And they had this new John Lewis class. So they have different classes that meet federal guidelines to finding high-need students. And this year, the Wilbur Cross High School in New Haven, Connecticut was chosen for this honor. So I just gave you a little bit about what the what the Center for Civic Education is and what the We the People is, and that's all in here. I contacted Dr. Donna Phillips, Vice President and Chief Program Officer of the Center for Civic Ed, and she provided us with email addresses of some teachers and coaches of the ones who were in the final competition, not all of them, just the ones in the final. So I did contact them and encourage them to have their students apply for the scholarship. Shane Klein, one of our Teachers of the Year awardees, who will be tomorrow, is actually coached the We the People team from Raleigh High School, North Carolina. So she will be there tomorrow. She might want to say congratulations because they made the finals.
Wow,
Yes,
and she'll be there tomorrow.
she will be. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Kitty, for keeping up with all that. Lucy's not here for marketing, but I believe there is a marketing report from Noelle and Lucy together. Oh no, Lucy did present a marketing report, I'm sorry, and it is in your packet. So let me see if I can read that. They have so many reports. Lucy did send a report, which was so sweet. Oh, and I copied it off. So let's see what I did with that. Here we go, from Lucy. It's the meeting of, actually, she said the meeting and planning committee. And that's in your packets. And she says, I feel like the meeting and planning committee functions best with two chairmen. So that's why Joette and Lucy did that together. So Joette, do you want to read this, or do we just want to talk about it, or just, it's here if you want to read it from Lucy? She talks about how the ABA selects the hotel and arranges the rates, which is great, because y'all were getting a much better rate at the hotel than normal. And they pay the meeting room fees, which is great. We're really lucky that the ABA does all that with us. If we choose to have AML meetings in another venue, there will most likely be a rental fee that the ALA will pay for that location? No. Probably not pay. Also, if we want to have breakfast or lunch or dinner at the hotel, then it's best for the chairman to plan the event and know who to contact with the ABA. So Lucy has her contacts, Lucy and Joette at the ABA that they use. So she says the two meeting and travel chairs work together to compose a schedule for meetings and events for each city. The ALA president approves of all the planning for meetings and events. So that's in your packet, and y'all do a great job on that. That's a big job. So, anyway, that is from Lucy, and I wish she was here, but she's just not feeling well. All right, next is, I lost my agenda. That's right.
Oh, let's see.
All right.
Doing, meetings and travel or
We
website?
just did meetings and travel. So
Website, social media.
yes, website, social media. There is a report in your packet on that from Noelle. I believe it's the one with the red border on it. The website, social media, and here it is. I'll show y'all what it looks like. Noelle is in New York City visiting her daughter. So she was unable to come, but it looks like this. And so Noelle basically tells you what all that she did. I don't think I need to read all of it, but it's quite a bit. And she also outlined her goals at the bottom, which I will post and highlight, annual meeting highlights, and so we need to send her pictures. Publicize more of the Jurgemeier and Toy Awards. Continue with monthly e-blast and e-bites, which is great. Scan and upload all the past minutes. Increase Facebook followers and create better detailed pages on the website for the auxiliaries, leadership, projects, events, etc. So she does a great job, and I think I'm so happy that we have her to do all of the website, and she helped me a lot this year with getting things out to people, which was really, really helpful. The website stats, she shows that also in number 5, so y'all can look at that, see that the page is somewhere up, somewhere down, but even though the Jurgemeier page views were down a bit, we still had more apply because we had so much that we talked about that so much at the mock trial. All right, so that was Noel's report.
Noelle said to tell everyone hi, she just texted.
Perfect.
She said she didn't even bring her computer to New York City.
Can't believe
And
it.
that she's just going to eat, drink, and spend too much money.
Oh, okay, well, tell her thank you for everything, so that, okay, do we have any auxiliary, anybody have reports on their local, auxiliaries that they would like to get, number 8, we're number 8.
Is Dodie on here?
Doty's here.
Dodie.
Hi. I can do a quick report if you all would like.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so we had our installation meeting at Club Giroux this spring. And the new president for San Antonio Bar Auxiliary is Cecilia Green. So I am past president now, although I'm still on the board in another capacity. We're just real excited. We just finished planning our entire year for this upcoming year. And that will include our 85th anniversary as an auxiliary. So we've been an auxiliary for 85 years, which I believe is the oldest auxiliary in Texas. And so we're going to be having a cocktail party on October 5th. And we also have a proclamation that's going to happen at the Commissioner's Court. So that's kind of exciting. And I'll be doing the publicity on that. And we'll also be inviting many of you, if not all of you, to that cocktail party in San Antonio on October 5th. It's going to be a lot of fun. And they'll also unveil our proclamation there. But we're continuing with our same mission, our same objectives, which include LRE, the advocacy for the foster children that we help feed thanks to the grant from ALA every year that we feed them, and have a special dinner for them and for the judges and mentors that help them. And we're of course still involved in CASA, involved in raising our fundraising for our St. Mary's 2L students, so that we give one scholarship to the St. Mary's University School of Law for a 2L. Those kids are always amazing. We love meeting them. And then we give a paralegal scholarship as well for San Antonio College. And that event will be on, I want to say November 9th, I think, this year. And several past presidents are hosting that. So that's kind of part of the fall. And then we have our fun things scheduled as well. And our theme this year is touring old courthouses. So in September, we're going to tour the courthouse in Bernie, and then in spring, we're going to tour the courthouse in Bandera. So it's kind of a cowboys and courthouse theme this year, aside from everything else. So, and we have 45 paid members. So that's our report.
Thank you.
Welcome.
thank you.
Evelyn,
Welcome.
report. I think you're on mute. Hold on.
There, okay.
There you
Well,
go.
Here's Evelyn.
NCLA has several exciting, interesting, and fun activities coming up for the rest of this calendar year. In August, we're going to have a discussion on a book, The Lincoln Miracle, and that was that he got elected. We're going to have a tour in Georgetown in September to Dumbarton Oaks and Gardens, and then luncheon at the Sequoia. In November, we're going to the holiday market at the Strathmore Mansion. And then January 14th, we're going to have featured Betty White's 102nd, would have been her 102nd birthday. And that'll be a free Zoom presentation. And that would kind of be closing out the 22-23 year, where I'm stopping in January of 2024. We have 41 members, 5 of which are affiliate members, meaning they're not married to a lawyer. And we have a wonderful time getting together. sharing camaraderie and learning and going on trips, Zoom meetings, and in-person get-togethers. So we're an interesting, fun group. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you so much. Okay, does anybody else have a report, Alice?
Oh, hi, Kalamazoo, has been meeting monthly for luncheons, and we've had a judge, a retired judge, speak on her experiences. We've had symphony directors speak to us. We also have continued to support the library in the juvenile home and, the mock trial with the grants that we've received from, ALA. And, in the fall, we're trying to, line up our list of activities to have, and one of them would be to have a book discussion of To Kill a Mockingbird. And, so we're trying to get someone that would lead that discussion after our members have read that. And then also, we have a bridge club. And it is of non-members and members, and they meet in the homes, and the money they raise from the bridge is they give to the juvenile and our lawyers. We also have receptions for the Bar Association in the courthouse of newly appointed attorneys and memorials as well. That's another event. And then there's going to be a new courthouse in Kalamazoo, and it will be opening up in October, so there will be having
How many years have you been president now? Her auxiliary is going because of Alice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's a big problem that we have in Michigan right now. It's getting new members and people that haven't already done jobs. And are you through?
Yes, but so that, I think it's wonderful that we have a connection with ALA, because that's kept us, focused and planning grants, and it's just been a wonderful partnership.
You're gonna be going. I was gonna follow through.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Saginaw County, we used to have close to 100 membership. We're down to around 30 or 40. And we are run by committee, and there was a faction within our group that was trying to fold us last spring. After the pandemic, we were meeting by Zooms, and it was just the 5 of us all the time. Last spring, we finally started back with our spring luncheon, and we did get a large turnout of some of the older women that have not been active and still are not active. They just come for the social events. And we also had a fall luncheon this year. And all of our meetings since spring have been in person. We had a fundraiser, just selling, cards for people to go to the local, garden center to spend on anything, any flowers for either for Christmas, or I save my card for the spring for my garden. Mock trials in Saginaw County have been going on for at least 3 years, I think, before I joined it. And we've always partnered with our county bar association. And I've always been their representative, and we meet once, well, from the auxiliary, we meet once a month. We're already working on next year's mock trial. We've never competed in the national ones because we've always had our local one. And it's been always so well organized. And it's the vice president of the county bar association, who's in charge of it along with me. We're co-chairman of it. And we also have an older lawyer who's been very involved, that is a co-chairman, because it keeps the continuity going, because we have a new person every year and they're getting younger and younger. In fact, the newest one this year is a brand new judge that was just voted in this fall, and she's been very good too, but she'll be president of the bar association. So we've always had a good cooperation there. The auxiliary, we were able to get people out during the mock trials. We take over the whole courthouse, and every school in the county participates with the team. We create the mock trial script and everything for them, and the lawyers do most of that. And I used to have all sorts of contests with it, and we're down to just doing the constitutions at this point. I used to have a coloring contest, that's how we got our coloring books, through my coloring contest. That I would create something, I have an art education degree, and I would create them to send out to participate in something at that level. We participate with the local Saginaw Valley University, which is a four-year school, and they have a pre-law club that's always been very active, and they have moot trials. We help them we judge their moot trials, and they sent some of their members came to help judge our mock trials this year too. And that's one way we have cooperated. We have a spring luncheon with the bar, where we give awards to lawyers and non-lawyers and people in the community that have contributed to law-related civic education. And hopefully the people women in our organization did not decide to disband, but they came to us for full spring. Because we ruled by committee, no, everybody's already been president once, except me, because I already had all the other projects that I worked with. And that's one reason why I've never been president of the ALA, because I've had so many other projects that I've been working on. Yeah. So hopefully we will continue. We have one girl that just MCs our meetings as a president, she's a past president. And we divvy up the things. I'm trying to divvy up getting the report to nominate away from me. But that's where we are in Saginaw election.
We don't do a lot, Great. And then Sharon, did you have a report?
Yes, I'm involved with the Columbus Bar Association, and some of you will remember last February in New Orleans, I was asking different people what their groups do. And,
Yes.
and all of that, because we were struggling. And, I also joined Austin and TLA because I'm in Texas in the winter. So several of us ladies that were past presidents all got together and we discussed what we were gonna do. And we reorganized. We're gonna have 3 meetings in the fall, 3 meetings in the spring. And everybody stepped up. I'm co-president for the next 2 years. And everybody took a 2-year commitment. We're all past presidents. And we all, said, we want this organization to survive and we think it's good. So our theme is fellowship, friendship, and fun. Welcome back to post-pandemic CBAA era. And so our first meeting, our CBA offices moved. So our first meeting in September is going to be at their offices. We're having it catered by, it's a group called A La Carte, Freedom A La Carte, and it's a group of ladies that were organized through the court system. They're women's recovering from prostitution and drugs and stuff. And they started this restaurant, and so we're having our meals. Catered by them. And then we have a judge coming, and she's going to talk to us about a day in the life of a judge. So that's, and then the second meeting we're going to tour a Islamic mosque and cultural center, and they're going to provide us lunch. The third meeting is at the home of Stephen Sherrod Chevalier. Just for fun, and it's called Bad Taste Party. It's done in bad taste. It's at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. At the party at 3 o'clock on a Sunday. And in the spring, I'm not sure what it is because Bruce might benefit, like I benefited from all your help. We're having a speaker who's, he spoke to our group before. He's the husband of one of our members and he's a former FBI agent. And so he's gonna talk to us, and we don't even know what he's gonna talk about, but he's a talker. And so he'll be very interesting. The last time he talked to us was about, he was at the bridge in Alabama during the Martin Luther King stuff. He was in the FBI at that time. And then the next meeting we're having at a place called the Calton House, which is a house in Columbus where it used to be. women's helped underground slaves get to freedom. And so one of our members is, very, very involved in that. And then the last meeting we're having is called Celebrate Women, and we have a woman, historian and professor who's gonna come and talk to us about women in history.
That's great. You agree, great.
So,
Yeah.
we've worked very hard
Yeah.
to do this, and I want to thank everybody here that helped me, because last February I was saying, what should I do now? And so, because we were struggling, and now we're all excited about this new year coming up.
That's great. Yeah.
So thank you. I just got something about that, about 60 or 70.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Can you forward that to me?
Okay, just so I can get it in here, but it's hard, to get everything.
But like I said, you guys helped me. There were 3 of us really involved in trying to get this all going, but then everybody else stepped up and said, okay, I'll be the secretary. I'll be the treasurer. All you know, and we're all past this.
Yes.
We lowered the number of people that's on board. We used to have a big board, now we're down to 8 people.
Congratulations, it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
All right,
So
thank
we-
you, anybody else?
Austin, we just have lots of fun in Austin.
We do.
Step up our game.
Yes.
We do adoption day. We raise some funds for Louise House, which is a local nonprofit. We meet once a month. We try to do some local Austin things. We did a historic Fredericksburg house tour. But I like some of these other ideas, so, but we meet once a month and try to do some charitable stuff and some fun stuff, and these are great ideas stuff, so we're gonna have to talk about this.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the inappropriate dinner or dinner? What do you?
Bad things.
Bad taste.
Yeah, I did that once before for another group. And you come to my house, and like last time it was in October, I had Christmas lights up outside. And I had a sprinkler to get to the front.
Oh, that's
And I decorated my house horribly, you know, I put up, you can find all kinds of things at Walmart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I found, peace curtains.
Oh, wow.
And I put those up, and I put up posters over my pictures, and I put up my kids' trophies. And I left out cleaning supplies on the counter, and runners, like plastic runners on the floor, and plastic covering over the furniture. The scoop, we had, well, we're from, I don't know if you have White Castle around here.
Yes.
Yeah, they're from Columbus, so someone brought White Castle, someone brought a cater. That looked like a kitty litter. We had punch out of a wastebasket and all that, and people dressed in bands. So like, one person came in Michigan clothes because Steve and I are big Ohio State fans. And one guy came and he wore glasses with a penis on. You know, just like summer clothes, and it was winter, and all kinds of money.
How many people did you have? You must have had a crowd.
That time we had about 40.
Yeah.
So it's just in fun, you know, and just. That's right. It'll be crappy food, but, you know, and one person complains that the food wasn't very good, and I'm thinking that's really. Terrible food, but yes, how many times have you eaten cheese whiz and out of the. Crackers and. But, you know, we had, I think, Rice Krispie treats for dessert, you know, things like that. They're things you can eat. It's just, you're not.
You just don't eat it anymore.
So, but most people talk about it, said it was a lot of fun, so.
It was a
trying to
couple
get another group.
It's a lot of work, the couples event, sharing with husbands and.
Yeah, it was a group that had couples in it, and our auxiliary, that's why we're having it on a weekend, so that we can have husbands come too. And we said 3:00 on a Sunday, absolutely awful time to have a party. That's a bad taste.
That's so funny.
Any other auxiliary reports? Fine.
I wanted to
Okay.
say, maybe Dodie can chime in on this. The Texas State Group is reorganized. We've reorganized. We're having again.
Thankful to Stephanie, she got us.
Yeah, including co-presidents and entire, I mean, a whole lot of bylaws changes,
Yeah.
which actually we're just trying to bring the bylaws in, in sync with the way we were operating. Right. And Dodie and Cecilia shared our teacher of the year, and they have just finished that. The judges have just completed, and Dodie, would you I just wanted to thank you for
Yeah.
taking that on. That's our major sort of civic law-related education project that we do, and they've done a marvelous job, and we have a good winner, right?
Yes, and I don't know if you had a chance to read the press release that I sent you.
I did.
Okay, and are you good with the press release as written?
It was good.
Yes, good, okay. Well, I'm not gonna read the press release, but basically, Cecilia and I had reported at the meeting in June that was in conjunction with the SBOT, and we reported on that, but we got very, very organized because Cecilia and I are a good team. We're both kind of hyper organized. So we basically, we reached out to like 85 different districts, and then later learned there's 1,000 districts in Texas. So we still have a lot of reaching out for next year. But what we did was we just did a search to find out who were the academic deans or the curriculum superintendents. And we went to all these different sites, and then we compiled a list, which I gave to Noel, but we compiled our list and of all those people. And then we created a letter, and we sent them a letter telling them about the TLA Teacher of the Year Award. At a prior meeting, we had with that board increased the amount to $1,500. So we reached out, I talked to local people here, and we were very happy to receive 8 different applicants. They were all good, but some of them had incomplete paperwork. And even after we would reach out to them and say, you still needed this, or you need that, or you need the principal's letter, some of them would get the materials to us, some of them wouldn't. Like yourselves, what we noticed was they were all applying right at the last minute. Most of the applications, in spite of the fact that we had 2 rounds of letters in the spring, most of the applications came in right, probably the 3rd week of May. So after all that, then we turned it over to our judging committee, and when we printed out all the stuff, and we made each judge a packet with a rubric, with a grading rubric, and the score system based upon this was Kitty, the person who had done it before us. She had a scoring rubric. We just kind of cleaned it up a little bit and put that in the packets, and they all judged, and then we got all the packets back, and the person that had the highest mean score is right here in the neighborhood, and his name is Kevin Pumphrey. He is the social studies coordinator at Clark High School in the Northside Independent School District. He's been a teacher for 27 years, all at Clark. And his most outstanding achievement is that he started the Model UN program there. And that Model UN program is an award-winning program, and just an amazing program. And then the thing that really nailed it for us was that some of his students had actually commented in a local magazine that had all these different outstanding high school graduates. And 2 of them had commented that their favorite high school activity was Model UN. So that's our winner. And I'm about to send out the press release this afternoon to Northside, contact Kevin, the academic dean, etc. So that's where we are in it. And we learned, Cecilia and I just learned so much. And we've got our notebooks, and we're ready to do it again next year.
Good.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So that's all about Texas. Anything else on the committee on? Okay, I would like to, when we talked about Toy, I had intended for Diane to speak for Toy.
Yeah.
And I totally skipped over you, and I'm so sorry, but Diane Carmen has her report, we have her report in your folder as well. And Diane, if you would speak a little bit, she's in charge of the past teachers and she keeps up with the past toy. And kind of the awareness and trying to find out where they are and how they're doing. So Diane, if you could give your report, and I'm sorry, when we talked about toy, you were on my list and I totally forgot, I apologize. But Diane also sent a great report, y'all can follow up.
Right, it was in the packet.
Yes, it's in the
The key thing I was trying to do for this report is to get the emails for Noel, she asked me to get everyone's emails so they can, see that they're members of ALA. And I'm kind of done looking everybody up. I found as many as I can. But I think what I was gonna do in this fall, because a couple I missed because the school was closed.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to introduce the scholarship. Tell the past toy winners
Yes,
about the scholarship.
great idea.
And I was thinking, maybe you should talk about this in a future meeting or something. Maybe ALA could come up with some of their own scholarships. Maybe $1,000 for five high school students. But they wouldn't be coming to the awards, we wouldn't be paying them, we would just give them, to come to a ceremony. That would really increase the expenses. But it seems like you all have a lot of money. And if maybe the teachers would be helpful in getting not only the Jeremiah, but using the LA scholarships.
And how difficult is it to keep up and find some of these past toy winners?
Quite a lot of.
I mean, you've done a great job
I
finding these.
found everybody I could.
Yeah,
I'm done finding, now I'm just following them.
okay, well, thanks. Thanks for doing that. I think it's good that we follow up. And then, of course, we make them honorary members, so we want to make sure they're aware of that. So that's also a good thing. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for your report. Okay, if we're done with auxiliary reports, then we'll go to new business. The bylaws, like I said, we're gonna vote on those tomorrow at the annual meeting. So you have those in your packet. We already talked about National High School Mock Trial and the future funding. We voted on that. So
Thank
Kitty
you for
Green-
funding.
Thank you. Insurance coverage, that's new business. That's a new one. We have been asked by different members if we have DNO or premises liability or general liability insurance.
Diane.
We
Thank you for
don't.
this.
Of course,
I'll add
some
it
of
to
our
my
affiliates
list.
do,
People's
and
contact.
that's great. So I started looking into it, and I did get, from Janet, gave me a gentleman, and I did get one quote from him. And for general liability, it was gonna be $650 and $600 for the DNO, which is directors and officers. It was gonna be $1250 a year. However, we have 3 more agencies that I've been in contact with, but I just haven't, every time I send them information, like, well, I need this, and time just got away from me. So I would like to propose that maybe if we do want to go ahead with this insurance discussion, which my thought is we probably need to get some sort of insurance to cover us, for directors and then general liability. That maybe we have a committee set up because I thought it was gonna be so easy to get all these quotes, but it's not, because they always wanna know more, and they always need more information. And then I had one insurance group say, we're just not gonna insure you because you're a bunch of lawyers, and I said, no, not really, we are, some of us are. But, so it's really different, it wasn't as easy as I thought. So Janet and I, we talked about this yesterday in executive, and we were thinking maybe we should form an insurance committee to kind of look into it. Look into how much insurance do we need? Do we just need DNO in general? Things like that. So did you want to speak on that, Janet, since you're fixing to be president, or?
Make a committee and,
Do we have anyone that would like to volunteer to be on an insurance committee? Yes, that's right. Virginia is, which is great, because it's great, since Virginia, I don't know, like she and Dominique are both attorneys, and so that's very helpful. So Virginia will be on the committee. Dominique will, anybody else? On a little committee to help with insurance. I mean, I'll be on the committee since I've already done some of it, so I'll be on it. And then, Janet, I guess you'll be on the insurance. So that's 4,
Plenty.
That's plenty. Yeah.
Do we need? No, I think that's fine. We can just meet on Zoom or on email or whatever.
Yeah.
So the committee is gonna be composed of Janet Bullinger, our new president, that's gonna be tomorrow, as of tomorrow. Virginia Sampson, Dominique Varner, and myself. Okay, so we'll get information on the insurance, and then hopefully then by the next meeting, we can vote on it. How does that sound? That's what I got.
Yeah. we do.
All right. And if anyone has any ideas or any great agent that they've worked in, just send it to us. All right, mid-year meetings, do we want to discuss that as a group, like socially tonight, or we want to think
Bring
about
that
what we're
over
talking?
now and talk about it, and then we meet together socially. The comment was that we're going to go to Louisville. I've never been there. And it's been suggested to come to Washington. I made some inquiries, but we need dates. And, I slept on it last night, and the go-to, I've never been to Louisville. And we do have ABA, they've agreed to make all the arrangements for us, and it might not be as expensive, they won't tell me anything in DC unless they have dates, and, you know, the hotel rooms are gonna be expensive.
And then Jeannie, did you have something you wanted to say about
Well,
that?
I understand you also discussed this yesterday in
Okay.
executive, so I think we need to be out of here by noon, right?
Well, if we can 10 after at the latest.
Yeah. So I think
Tomorrow, discuss tomorrow.
maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
We have time to discuss it.
We can discuss it some more tomorrow, and then we can also kind of discuss it when we're at lunch together.
Yeah,
And we also mentioned another committee for that.
Yeah.
Joanne and Lucy and maybe myself and everybody else who's interested. And,
Jeannie, do you want to be on that committee?
Oh, sure.
To help?
Yeah.
So that's great. So once we go ahead and put a committee together for that, for the meeting, go ahead. Okay.
I have to be in contact with my friend who goes on the, comment.
Chamber of Commerce.
I just need that. The application.
Okay.
What we do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
place to go. That's great. That's good. So did y'all hear that? Okay.
And you want to?
And the committee?
what is that
Help
for?
try and find the place.
Jennifer?
What is this?
I have no idea.
Executive level.
Oh,
To
okay.
change the meetings, that's in the constitution.
Oh, okay. But
But we could have a committee that's.
to suggest, right, and present that to the executive. Okay, so that'll be a committee, thank you, that's a good point, committee to present to the executive.
But it's fine to have. a committee.
Okay, so we're gonna have all the committees, we Janice, Jeannie, Joette, Mike,
And
Lucy, and Ann. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay, but, okay, perfect. That's to figure out where we're gonna have the meetings.
They never,
Janet,
they never
Jeannie,
mentioned artist
Joette,
competition.
Lucy, and Ann. Okay, great, that's great. The,
January 3rd.
We could change the date.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where the ABA is gonna be there.
Yeah.
Can I just, so the committee's gonna consider cost, I don't know why we would fix something other than the ADA, it's gonna cost a lot.
Yeah, that, we'll have to look into if that hotel would make us pay for a room, or if they would just let us use a room.
We're also gonna probably pay more for hotel rooms too. That's the
Yes.
market.
Have you ever been to Louisville at February?
I don't know, yeah, I'm here, I mean.
You get a visa, you can get a rate for like a smaller group, but I don't know.
February.
So I appreciate, we need to
Right,
consider the expense.
right,
Yeah, I think that's,
Whether or not we
really concerned,
Right.
appreciate you spending a lot more money than people can go certain places.
right,
I'm not trying to be offensive, I'm just saying.
right.
We also need to discuss the next summer about Chicago.
Yeah,
That committee can discuss that too.
and bring it to.
I'm for this
meeting,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe they'll change it from Chicago.
yeah.
Definitely, it needs to be changed.
Well, that was the other thought, go where they go in February and somewhere else in the summer. Well, let's.
And if we could get group rate just for a small group in a hotel, I don't know, I don't.
You can use like for weddings and things, you can usually get group rate.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't give me any grades until they know the date.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Well, that's how they go.
all right, well, I'm glad we have a committee on that, because we could sit here all lecture, we're gonna talk about that.
We don't want to take up committee.
Yeah.
Y'all for the suggestions, because that, we do need to consider the expense. When working with the ABA, they are great to work with, so that's, we gotta weigh the options. Okay, we don't really have a lot of time to discuss new ideas for membership and recruiting. But, anytime someone has some new ideas, we were talking about that earlier, about membership and recruiting, somebody had a really good idea about.
Like I said, Stephanie and I already have
Yes.
some of the women lawyers
Yes.
groups and some of their functions,
Right.
let's kind of talk about the organization, right?
Right,
See, and Joette, hopefully,
yes,
Jennifer, hopefully, anybody's
sure.
welcome, but we're just gonna talk at this Travis County Women's Lawyer Group, which is a large group of women
right,
that go to this big event. It's a judge's reception, so you get a huge turnout, and it's kind of like a happy hour, so you kind of mingle with people. So Stephanie had the idea we should go talk to them about,
But
Yeah.
these are women
tell them
lawyers.
about our organization.
women lawyers. And you know, that's a great idea, like, some of us are involved in other groups, and like Noelle was asked by Joette, and so just keep in mind that you can ask people, I mean, all they can say is no, so.
Like Dominique said, you have to ask.
Right, you
Because
have to ask.
otherwise, they have no idea.
And I think once people get to know our group and what we do, they're excited about joining, so.
Why don't we get targets in educational institutions? I was just doing a little research while we were talking. The League of Women Voters has a civic education
Yes,
online. I don't know if they might want to join up with us. I just saw UT has started a school of civic leadership.
wow,
So I mean, I was just doing
A lot of
research. If you want to
things
research
out
it.
there, yes.
Yeah, that we
right.
could maybe, we don't have to reinvent the wheel,
Right.
we can join up with them and, you know, co-sponsor events or get them to be some of our members
Right.
or.
Mhm.
So I mean, seeing what's already out there might be a good way to do it.
yeah,
And it's just started in 2023, so maybe something for us in Austin.
Is that a college level or?
Yeah, this is, it just says he was appointed UT Austin president. There's a new, University of Texas to establish school of civic leadership.
oh, that is great.
And that's just, 2023.
Partner with Debbie,
Yeah. We got the name of the dean here and,
Yeah,
so that might be a way to, you know, just to tap into some of these other organizations that are already doing similar things that we are.
Washington still do that.
okay. So that's a great idea that we need to do those. I'd love, I'll help you. I'd
Yeah,
love
we
to
can
do
just
that.
reach out to them
Yeah.
and see what they're doing. Maybe you go to some of their events. and
Right.
Spread the word about us, find out if they want help from us. Like
Right.
you did with the, you know, the mock trials.
Okay, y'all, what's next? Any other new business? If not, we'll go to old business, and where tomorrow morning is the breakfast.
Tomorrow morning's breakfast.
We're at the Denver Athletic Club.
And we're gonna be there at 8. Breakfast is, actually starts at 8:30, but we like it from, I'm sorry, 9 o'clock. So we'd like you all to be there ahead of time because the teachers come early. We'd like you to socialize and meet with them and.
What time? You could be there at what, by 10 till at the latest?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe 10 till.
Dress.
It's
Address is 1325
it's what, yeah, come on.
Glen Arm Place.
We walked past it last night.
That's nice, but you're welcome to take an Uber or however you want to go in. Yeah,
With what they.
Glen Arm.
It is also wonders too. So it's also on this schedule.
Oh, I'm not getting this photo. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's a short breakfast, the plate, and I've asked them to serve at 9:15, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I asked them to put the plates on, they'll have a coffee bar, juice bar set up
Good.
and wood. And I've asked them to put the plate of breakfast on at 9:15, because we've got a lot of things to cover, and we don't want to rush anybody.
Right.
So that's why I want everybody there early, and teachers always come early.
Yes.
And I know our little scholarship winner wanted to come at 8:30, and I think Barbara suggested probably a little later would be okay. So, we're doing that, and, I can't think what else I was gonna say, but anyway, it should all work out within, whoever's working the Zoom, so everybody can be on, wants to be on. And we've got the guarantee of 35. I have not received money from 35 people, and I'm not really sure.
I do not, or so we can find out about that. I would think.
Well, that'd be great. Please, and just let me know,
Let me know, because
Barbara's doing the name cards.
let me know, because I'm doing table seating.
Okay.
I make reservations, I don't know if I did or not.
I think you made a reservation, but you haven't paid.
It's all through that Zesty, whatever, which turned out to be very confusing. So if you haven't paid, I will try to figure it out. I've been confused. And just be prepared to pay. And then it's $35. And go ahead.
I just have a thought.
Yeah.
We've asked different ALA members to be kind of the hostess or the host
Right.
for the toy winners and for Cameron. If Rita's not going to be here, who's gonna be the host for the judge?
Oh, Rita is not gonna be here, you're right. For Judge Duffy.
We don't know, do we?
Um,
We don't know if she's going to.
No, I just now got a text from her, they will not be here.
Oh, then we need
I
somebody.
just got a text from Rita, they are still,
Presentation to present the award.
she said she's very sorry, but they are not gonna be able to come.
And Jane was the other one on the committee, so we need somebody to step up and, host the
And host the
judge
judge.
and
anyone feel
do
comfortable
the
with-
presentation. We
And
should try to
introduce
pull
her.
out her website. I don't think Rita sent a report, did she?
I can do that, but if somebody tell me what to say or I have to make something up, I don't want to do that.
We've got it.
Website.
on the website. Oh, God, I have to prepare something.
No,
Brenda, you probably could talk off the top of your head.
I don't know about that. Okay, I'm good at what, yeah.
It's Andrea Duffy,
Okay.
Andrea Duffy, Judge Andrea Duffy.
From where though?
From
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I'll give you this, I'll give you this program.
Okay.
And this, don't read this program tomorrow, it's the one that had an error in it, but I'm gonna give this to you.
Okay.
And you can read about her in the program, but if you can come up with something different or whatever, or highlight some of this, whatever.
Okay.
Andrea Duffy,
So
and
is
her
this,
son is Sean.
is this walking distance? or-
yes,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can
Right
walk.
last night.
we walked last night all the way
We
to dinner.
passed it on the way to the restaurant, 10, 11 minutes. Yeah, but the address is completely different from 14th and where we turned. Yeah.
Well, you see it, it's a red brick building.
Right, we did see it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the
That's it.
It was across the street and we turned right.
correct, yeah, all right.
Could
So
we need
that's-
it
And I will change the footing around
meet.
it, put you where I hit Rita, I'll let you know.
So I know that if anybody wants to meet.
Want to meet at Milwaukee, 8:30 and then we'll walk together.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's make that clear. So
Uh,
some of us are gonna be on really early, so, don't wait on like me and Kitty and Barbara.
Go ahead.
But if some of you wanna meet in the lobby, y'all probably wanna make sure you know who's gonna be meeting, if y'all wanna take an Uber or.
Which meeting are we talking?
We're talking about tomorrow. Yes, so what? Meet in the lobby at 8:15?
Yes.
Okay, so how many of you wanna meet? I just wanna make sure no one gets left.
Well, it depends on the-
How many of you are gonna meet in the lobby tomorrow morning for the breakfast? Lobby, okay. The rest of us, okay, so if y'all wanna meet in the lobby at 8:15 and then coordinate if you're walking or Uber or whatever.
And if you are a host, be there a little bit early, so you can be there to greet the
You're
teacher.
asking the people that are supposed to, get the name card, we're gonna have a table out in the hallway with the name cards, not name cards, I guess the name tags
Name
for the
tags.
guests that are coming.
Yes.
So you make sure they get their name tag.
Bring your name tag,
Wear your name.
wear your name tag.
And the teachers will have name tags there, get their name tags for them, introduce yourself, and then introduce them to other people. And
Right, make them
so
feel
they-
welcome.
Exactly,
And there are name cards on the tables and the tables will be numbered.
right,
Yes,
so they'll know where to sit.
so either bring your name tag or give it to me and I'll put it in the box and I'll bring it, or you can bring it, however y'all wanna do it, it's fine. So do we be clear about, is that clear as mud? Tomorrow? Yes. Yes, yes, it'll be, she's already got the tape, she's all prepared, she's got a sign sheet.
I'll print it out and have it at the sign-in table.
Yes,
Okay.
so I think, is everyone here coming to the breakfast tomorrow? Yes, okay, and I have name tags, like if you signed up early enough, then I have name tags for your spouses or your guests. If not, I have extra name tags, and we can just fill in their name.
I have just a real quick request.
Need your husband's name.
Yeah, it's real quick, I sent around about not child.
It's right, Roy Lerner. Got it.
The booklet that I sent around, oh, thank you, I just needed that. Sorry.
Okay, all right, so I'm excited about tomorrow.
Are we gonna meet for the long to go to the art museum?
Yes, that's what we're talking about next,
Okay.
real quick.
I can ask one quick question.
Yes.
So when I'm
kind of, I guess, is taking care of the judge, and my spears want me to go introduce her to them, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, just make her feel welcome.
Yeah, her name tag says I'm terrible with names, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be very name
Your
tag.
son Sean will be with you.
Okay, good, got it.
Here comes a program, but that's a program that has an error in it, so we don't want to use it for real. That's an extra that we made an error. So she's on the back.
Pretend like it's a rush party and you're taking them around and introducing
Yeah.
everybody.
So, okay, it's gonna be great. Thank y'all all who worked on that breakfast. I'm so excited about it. Tomorrow, we're gonna have the book presentation at 1:30. Our meeting tomorrow, after all the breakfast, and we can come back and relax, or you can go to lunch, you can do whatever you want, but at 1 o'clock, we'll have our meeting back here in this room. And we're gonna do the meeting, the book presentation, installation of officers, and then the new board meeting. So we'll do all that tomorrow afternoon. And so if you, thank y'all for bringing the books.
What time are we
And-
meeting downstairs to go to
That
lunch?
will be tomorrow.
Did she
Now,
say?
lunch, we're gonna
Oh.
quickly talk about lunch today, and we're doing great. It's noon. Lunch is at 1 o'clock. The Ponte, let's have, Joette's gonna tell us, give us some
So let
information.
me tell you a little bit about why, we're going to go to the Ponte. First of all, I have a reservation for 20. You pay your own, whatever you order, you just pay for yourself, but the girl, it's a woman chef, which is still very rare. And she's a James Beard winner.
Cool.
So, and she's gotten this job, with the Denver Art Museum. You don't have to pay to go in the art museum. To go
To go
to
to the
lunch,
restaurant,
has
yeah.
nothing to do with one another, but if you do, they have some really good things, because I thought Denver Art Museum, I don't know, but. They have a couple of Monets, have Pissarro, they have John Singer Sargent. They have a special exhibition now of 19th century European, American, European and American, so they have some good, things in the art museum too.
They probably have a gift shop.
I've heard they have a fabulous. It's a 16 minutes, the walk is 16 minutes, or you can Uber. It's, depending on your choice, so.
And do I talk at dinner tonight?
Okay,
Wait, before you do that, I'm so sorry. Where, are we meeting for Ponte? Is anyone meeting in the lobby to walk together, or
Yeah.
what time shall we do that?
let me give you all the address of Ponte at the Art Museum. It's 100 West 14th Avenue.
So just go down to
It's
14.
on here, it's on the
West
schedule.
14th Avenue. And it seems to be a pretty straight shot, but you better,
Is it walkable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far?
16 minutes.
We passed it last night.
No, that was
Passed-
the athletic club for breakfast.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ponte restaurant.
But you go down to
Ponte
14th
is
and
an
turn
art-
left.
And you just, according to
About
what
the
they
same
told me on the
distance as
phone.
last night.
Yes.
100
100 West 14th Avenue
is for what?
for the Denver Art Museum and the lunch venue.
We are on 17th this way and Weldon this way. You just go down Weldon till you get to 14th, turn left,
Turn left.
and keep going till you get there.
Okay.
All right, if we're going, will we meet down in the lobby?
We can have a drink.
12:30.
Our lunch is at 1 o'clock-ish. I'm sure they wouldn't mind if we're a few minutes late, but we have reservations at 1.
So meet at
So-
12:30, 12:40, or 12:30, what time y'all are meeting?
12:30.
Let's do
12:30, so
Yeah.
that won't give you much time, but time to think of things you're right. And just real quickly about tonight.
Tonight.
I have a list. One of our things we're working out is Noel knows who's paying, but Sharon and I don't know who's paying for reservations, so we're working on things. But I have that Sharon's paid for 2, Kitty for 2, Ann Santarelli 1, Mary Ann 3, Stephanie 2, Dominique 2, Diane Harmon 1, Virginia 1, Jennifer 2, Barbara 1, and myself. And I know Alice she's going to give my check. I don't have,
Paid, I have a confirmation
Okay.
from them.
so good. And I don't have Cheryl.
I couldn't remember.
It's okay. I hope you do come because
Oh,
we
we come.
have plenty of room.
I'm gonna bring an extra.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Because we had that problem with a lot of 10 people or so that are always at meetings, they're not here, so that would be wonderful. And you just can pay by check.
Okay.
You all, not you, but.
Hey, you know the restaurant. Hey, you know.
No, pay Sharon.
Girl, Cheryl.
What is the
Yeah,
dress
yeah,
code?
It's, casual here, but I would say dress it casual.
Candles not.
Yeah, you can't always look like Alice, I tell you. Alice. She is,
He walked out of Vogue.
But tomorrow morning is my dress.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so let's meet at 6:30 in the lobby for those of us who are going to Tamayo. That.
The reservation is not until 7:30.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was at 7,
Tomorrow night, 7:30.
7:30 tonight.
Tonight.
Tomorrow, tonight, sorry.
And it's at 7:30 tonight.
Yes, because, and we're going to been upgraded to the rooftop, so it ought to be.
Oh, 7.
We couldn't originally get the rooftop because their minimum was so high, like 5,500, and I said, we just can't do that. So anyway, since the other room had no air conditioner, where we were originally planning, we've been bumped up to the rooftop. So
Cool.
pretty fast.
Nice job.
It's that, they say it's 16 minutes coincidentally.
Our reservation is 7:30.
7:30.
7:00.
7:30.
So let's meet at 7
I'm double checking.
for dinner.
I have to-
Double check. I thought it was 7.
in the lobby for dinner tonight. And then for lunch, 12:30, and let's just run our stuff up to our rooms and then come back down and meet at 12:30.
Take everything off the table because it's coming in.
So all of you, I'm gonna, in a second, we'll adjourn unless there's anything else, but I'm gonna take all of y'all's cards because they're gonna be using this room this afternoon. So if y'all can pass me all the cards and I'll do it, we'll have it tomorrow.
I've already
We'll
packed
be
it somewhere.
back here in this room tomorrow at 1 o'clock after our breakfast.
And I would say the reservation, let's go with that, because if that's what she remembers, she's got a pretty good brain, so. And if not, we'll be there just a little early.
Okay, so tonight,
Or this evening.
okay, so
And if we have the whole room, there's nobody there in front of us.
So this evening, okay, y'all, just to be clear, for lunch, meet at 12:30 as soon as we can, and we'll go to lunch. And then for tonight, we're gonna meet at 6:30. So let's go ahead and do the 6:30 after all tonight.